Hey, welcome back to Crash Space. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're here with the final scenario of the Sinister Motives campaign box. This is Venom Goblin, and this is going to be a tough one. This is one of the hardest scenarios, I think, in entirety of Marvel Champions. It's really quite difficult, even on expert campaign, where we start with things like public outcry, we have to add all these cards. It might even get a bit worse, so tune in. This one's going to take a bit of work to get done, that's for sure. I've done some test runs off camera, and we did manage to beat this, so it's technically possible, as much as I do think we're going to have to get a bit lucky, or maybe more accurately, don't get unlucky, which, yeah, that can happen a lot of the time. Now, before we get into the setup, I just want to show the deck really quickly. We made some subtle changes to the deck, so we cut 2 copies of these 2 cards, Astonishing X-Men and Containment Strategy, that were there for a Sinister 6. We also removed 3 copies of Riposte, and we've added these 5 cards. Now, this first card, Hard Knocks, we have 2 copies of it, and there's a big reason why this is in the deck. Not only are there a lot of minions in this deck that have 4 to 5 health, so defeating a minion for 3 and getting a toughness is not bad, especially because Venom Goblin hits pretty hard. The big thing is that in this deck, there's a really ridiculous encounter card called the Advanced Glider that shows up with some consistency. And this means that Venom Goblin will activate against us at least twice in a round, which is a lot of damage for solo or a lot of threat if you're unfortunately an alter ego. And the only way to get rid of this is to discard attack cards from your hand with cost of at least 3. Now, we do have attack cards in our deck in the Magic kit, but they do cost 2, so the chance of drawing both of them in the same hand is incredibly unlikely. So we have to go to the way to play some 3-cost attacks, and in Protection, this might be the only option, if not one of the only options. So we're on 2 copies of it. It's not bad. If we get blown up by the Glider, you can go up to 3. Now, this is the change. We took out Riposte from the deck. Riposte was a really cool card in the deck, especially when we were playing a Change of Fortune deck, which we're not anymore, as much as the deck does have a lot of minions. And instead of getting the extra damage from Riposte, we have transitioned to 3 copies of Not Today. Now, ideally, we're trying to play this off the top of the deck with Magic for free, get that +2 defense, and if we defend perfectly, we get to remove 2 threat from a scheme. As you'll see in a second, this is a really weird setup where there's not only 1 main scheme, there's 3. So every round, there's actually 3 threat added. So it's harder for us to keep afloat, specifically as a protection deck in solo. So it's not 1 threat per turn, it's 3 threat per turn. So cards like this really should help. Our deck technically has a bit less damage, but a lot of times against Venom Goblin, it feels like we can't really rush because when Venom Goblin advances, we have to kind of control when that is because it's really bad really quickly. So we're going to be kind of chipping Venom Goblin down, which might not be a great strat, but it does technically work. At least I've seen it work. So we're going to try for that again. And with that, let's talk about Venom Goblin. Let's do the whole setup again. Timestamps in the description if you want to jump straight to gameplay. This is the main scheme, Skies over New York. We're going to be playing with Venom Goblin 2 and 3 because we're playing on Expert and we're playing with all the recommended encounter sets. So that's going to be Symbiotic Strength and Goblin Gear. Symbiotic Strength has a bunch of treacheries that say that the villain attacks again with extra boost cards. That can be pretty bad. There's a bunch of small minions. But in Goblin Gear is mostly attachments, and there's that Advanced Glider, which is a huge issue. In the Venom Goblin set, there's also a lot of minions. So I think there's like over a dozen minions, I feel, in this set, and a lot of them have 4 to 5 health. So we want to make sure that we always have access to our Soul Strike to be able to keep the board clear because they hit pretty hard. Now, the setup says put the lower, Midtown, and upper Manhattan main schemes into play. And then we place the Glider counter. We're going to be using the first player token for that on Midtown Manhattan and flip this card and set it aside. I'll just show you the back of this because we're actually going to put this aside. We don't really need this anymore. This just becomes a reminder text card. It's technically an environment, but it doesn't actually matter. But in short, this just reminds you some basic ideas about how these triple main schemes work. Firstly, it says player cards that affect the main scheme we can apply to any of the main schemes. So that's pretty nice. If we have a card like Not Today that says remove 2 threat from the main scheme, it's our choice. That's cool. It says encounter cards that affect the main scheme, however, only apply to the scheme with the Glider counter on it. So that includes things like acceleration tokens, but also, of course, if Venom Goblin activates to a scheme, the threat will go wherever the counter is, and this counter will be moving constantly. Finally, it says each main scheme accumulates threat each round, so we'll be adding 1 to each of them, and equal to also its acceleration value, so it could get acceleration tokens, and those can be redistributed if things go poorly. Otherwise, we don't really need this, so I'm going to put it aside, but this technically is on the table. It just doesn't really impact the game, besides some reminder text. And that's important because we have a lot of stuff on the table. Let's go through these 3 main schemes. They're all pretty symmetrical. They have slightly different numbers. Their effects have the same sort of idea. There's a special ability that does something different, but this is Lower Manhattan starting here. It says a global hub of commerce. Many citizens in Lower Manhattan stay focused on the bottom line, distracted from Venom Goblin's attempt to usurp the city. Comes in when 1 threat, it gets 1 per turn. Once it hits 11, it completes. And when this completes, it flips over. It's not good for us. We don't lose the game, but if 2 of these complete, we do just lose the game kind of on the spot. And has a special ability. So the special ability will only fire when a game card says to do the special ability, which will be happening mostly every round. The special says place 1 threat on each scheme, and if a symbiote environment is in play, place an additional threat on this scheme. The backside of these, if they're ever completed, become symbiote environments. So if one of these collapses, one of the boroughs of Manhattan, then everything else gets worse. But once 2 of these parts of Manhattan collapse, that's how we lose the game. As much as there's other actually environments I think can enter play through the encounter deck. That's Lower Manhattan. I'm not too stressed about this one. This one, if we let it fire, it adds a lot of threat. That's not great for a protection deck, but it's one of the 3 specials I think that is probably in the middle of how bad we think it is. Otherwise, Midtown Manhattan in the middle, this is where the glider starts. It has a threshold of 12, so this is the biggest. Iconic buildings and bustling streets of Midtown Manhattan obscure Venom Goblin's movements overhead. The special on this one says take 2 indirect damage, and if a symbiote environment is in play, increase that to 3 indirect damage. This one's rough. Venom Goblin hits pretty hard, so just taking incidental damage, indirect damage is not a great thing to do, but this has the highest limit as much as it does start already on 2. In fact, it actually should start with 3 threat. I'm just going to do this now before we forget, but I'll explain why that is in a second. Finally, Upper Manhattan. This one has the lowest threshold, only 10. It says residents of Upper Manhattan enjoy a sunny day around Central Park in Harlem, unaware of Venom Goblin's plot to infest their community. Starts with no threat, gets 1 per turn, of course, and then special says discard a card from your hand, and if a symbiote environment is in play, also discard the top 4 cards of your deck. This one's really interesting because I think it's the least impactful because it doesn't put us that much closer to losing the way that adding a lot of threat does or taking indirect damage. However, in the early game, this one I think you feel the worst because losing cards from your hand means that you can set up less efficiently, and if you can't set up and get through that early game, the mid game gets worse and you probably don't even see the late game. So from what I've tried so far, this is something that you generally want to keep the lowest in the late game, and you'll see why, because how the glider moves around depends on what has the least threat on it. But in the early game, that actually can hit pretty hard because losing a card when you only have 5 hand size obviously does not help. Otherwise, let's look at our villain here. This is Venom Goblin, and we're starting with Venom Goblin 2 because we're playing on Expert, so we have to defeat 2 and 3. We have Steady, which means we need 2 stuns and 2 confuses. We have Toughness, so the first damage is blocked. Only 18 health, schemes for 2, attacks for 3, but when revealed, we have to deal 2 face down encounter cards to each player. This has been a thing that just kind of followed us all through Sinister Motives, and it's cool the way this Venom Goblin, just like in the mutagen formula scenario, just gives you a bunch of encounter cards. On turn 1, we're likely going to be drawing 4 encounter cards. That's a hard hump to get over, and this is where you can lose on 1 turn playing solo. I lost on my first turn in one of the demo games, the practice games, because we just got attacked 3 times in a row, and that's really hard to survive, especially if you don't have an ally in play. So we're going to have to get a bit lucky. So we're going to shuffle all the encounter decks. It's very important that the when revealed on the scenario setup happens before any of the campaign setup happens. So while there's going to be campaign cards we're going to be adding to the deck, we actually have to add those after we do this when revealed because all the main setup stuff happens first. Now the star ability on this says, claim the throne, force response after Venom Goblin activates against you, you move the glider counter to the main scheme with the least threat and then resolve its special ability. Now I had to dig this up in some of the rule responses on like Hall of Heroes. It turns out if the glider counter is already on the main scheme with the least threat and there's not another main scheme with equal or less threat, it does not move, but you still do the special of where the glider counter rests. So the idea is in the late game, if Upper Manhattan has the least and not tied for the least, truly the least, when Venom Goblin activates, the counter will stay there, but we still have to do the special, which is discard a card. So this is really important because whatever we keep down, the least, that's where the glider will go, and that's a special ability we have to do. So again, lose a card, take indirect, put threat on everything, and it's up to us to hopefully control where that glider moves. It's really awkward if Venom Goblin activates more than once, and there's a whole bunch of encounter cards that say that suddenly the counter moves, or threat gets suddenly added to different main schemes. So sometimes you can manage it, sometimes it just kind of gets a bit out of hand, and you're trying to play catch up. We'll shuffle this deck and deal ourselves 2 encounter cards. All right, we're hoping these are going to be good. We're going to be drawing at least 2 more encounter cards, I'm pretty sure, on turn 1. So that's 4 encounter cards. Again, it can be really quite bad. You can suddenly have 4 minions. That's a problem. So kind of have to get a bit lucky here, it feels, which is ugly because then you have to reset and try again. That'll be 2 cards. And now we're going to add all the campaign specific stuff. So because we're playing in the campaign mode, let alone we're playing on Expert, we have the Expert version of Public Outcry. This has been a problem through the entirety of the campaign. It starts in play with 3 counters. And once we defeat 3 minions or side schemes, we can remove a counter for each minion or side scheme, and then this is cleared and we lose that hazard icon. There's a card in the deck that we're going to be adding called Smear Campaign, which if we draw it, adds 2 counters to Public Outcry. Drawing this immediately is, I want to say a death sentence, but it's pretty damn bad because clearing this as soon as possible is our priority. Now we have 3 attachments here from the Osborne tech set. 2 of them are actually really quite bad for us that we have to watch out. Tracking display is awful. It says we cannot defend against a villain's attacks, and we are a defense deck that wants to defend to get value. So we have to get rid of this as soon as possible, which is exhausting a character. And if we're exhausted and we don't have any allies, that's an issue. And then arm cannon also can be a bit bad because this gives a villain's attack overkill and piercing, which means we can't chump block with allies if we need to in a pinch, but also we do have toughness in our kit to some extent, at least our aspect cards. So both of these are not great. We're going to have to get rid of them. They have surge and they all have 3 boost icons. We also have Electro and Craven. This is because in the Sinister Six in our previous scenario, we weren't able to defeat all the villains. It really wasn't our choice at that point. There was just too little threat on the side scheme and we had to defeat Vulture. So these are going to be in the deck. And if we draw them, they have 6 health and bad numbers and bad effects. So Whoops, hopefully that doesn't catch up with us. We also have to add one of these community side schemes. These actually don't do anything. I think you can largely ignore them. We'll do 1, 2 is the top, 5, 6 is the bottom. So we're gonna be adding back alley burglary. This is a card with 3 boosts and surge, and if we hit it on the table, it does give victory 1 if you clear it. We're largely gonna ignore it, hopefully, and I don't think it'll have any ramifications on the game. So it's just in there. We got to shuffle all this stuff back in real good, and then we'll talk about our deck and our setup. Actually, before I shuffle too much, because we're going to have to go through this deck, we need to look at our reputation track from the Sinister Modus campaign. Going into the final scenario, we didn't get 25 reputation. We got, 22, which is still pretty good because we hit all of the bonuses besides the final bonus. And the final bonus is really nice, but we still get some good stuff. So the left side of the track is the good stuff that we have. So we have an additional mulligan. So we're going to be mulliganing twice, which is quite nice. We start with this campaign card. This is an upgraded version of our shield tech. This card is really great and has been entirely changing what kind of deck we're playing. This is wave bracers. And on the enhanced side, it gives us -1 attack. I don't have a little button for that. So we're just gonna have to remember that we have 1 attack, which is not great, but we have +2 defense, which puts us in hero mode to 4 defense, which is fantastic. But also we have Stalwart, so we can't be stunned or confused, and there's a bit of stun in the set. I don't think there's any confuse. And then we have Retaliate 1. That means with our deck, we want to block a lot. We'll get to Retaliate 2, and then we'll kind of like chip down Venom Goblin and spend most of our attacks on the minions and have our little damage coming in from blocking and Retaliate. That is the way that we're going to progress Venom Goblin. We have our Planning Ahead card. We've already picked this. So we have 3 copies of Clear the Area in our deck. This is a card that we got in from Out of Aspect. I really like this card. It's not as good in this scenario, but we can't really change it because this removes 2 threat, and if it clears a side scheme or a main scheme, we draw a card. There's a lot of threat work to do, so we appreciate this, especially when we play it for free off the top of our deck. We also start and play with a helicarrier, so we have one in play. That's really nice. This just gives us a resource a turn. As much as it doesn't give a resource, it reduces the cost of a card you're going to play, and we have one. That's fantastic. And finally, we have a Planning Ahead card, so we can search our deck and discard pile for a copy of a card that we've named from Planning Ahead, and it'll start in our hand before we mulligan, from my understanding. For this, I'm actually going to just pick a card that's not super flashy. It's not a setup card, it's Exorcism. And that's just to ensure that we start with an Exorcism in every opening hand, and we can discard this and then using Ileana's ability, play it for 1 cheaper off the top of the deck with magic on turn 1. And why are we doing that? Because on the right side of the track, we're going to be starting with a side scheme in play guaranteed. And that means we want to clear it as soon as possible so we can get rid of the public outcry counters. And it's just going to give us a bit of consistency. So we're going to go ahead and start with an Exorcism. I'll just go put that aside, but that will be starting in our hand in just a moment. Now, the right side of the track, bad things. We have 3 Osborne techs. This is where we add +1 threat to the main scheme. So whenever the scenario or the encounter talks about the main scheme, it'll be the main scheme that the glider is on. So that's why Midtown Manhattan has 3 threat on it instead of 2. We also now have to search the deck for a scenario-specific side scheme and a minion and put those in play with us. So we have some choices here before we finish shoveling up the deck. I actually don't mind this too much because if we start with that sort of stuff in play, it means that we have 2 things we can defeat, hopefully on turn 1, which will bring public outcry down to 1 counter. 1 counter won't clear it, but we're actually very close to clearing it. And then on turn 2, ideally we will find, when we draw 4 encounter cards, a minion or a side scheme, and then we can clear this on turn 2, which has been pretty nice. So in terms of scenario-specific side schemes, there's only 2 choices in this deck. This deck doesn't have that many side schemes. However, these 2 side schemes are actually pretty interesting. The first option is Festering Mass, and also when we pick this, it will come into a play. It's revealed, and it will have another threat on it. This will have 6 threat because of the additional ability, and it has an acceleration icon, and it says, while there are no other symbiote environments in play, this is considered a symbiote environment. Some of the minions care about that. All of the special abilities on the main schemes care about that. This is hard to clear. 6 is a lot. We have an Exorcism, which is 4, and we have our basic activation, which is 1. So I'm actually more likely to take Joyride. That's the other option we can pick. And while Joyride will come in with 5 threat, because it's 2 plus Hinder 2 plus 1, when revealed, we have to move the glider token to the main scheme with the most threat and resolve that special ability. I think we're going to go for this because we can clear 5 on turn 1, and I'd rather get this out of the deck on turn 1 so we don't draw it in the mid game and have to deal with this, because having another hazard icon just really sucks. I really don't like hazard icons when you're playing solo. It can get pretty swingy pretty fast. So we'll reveal Joyride. So we'll put into play. It has 5 threat. And now we have to move the glider to the main scheme with the most threat. So it'll stay on its own lane, which is interesting. And then we'll resolve that scheme's special ability. And Midtown Manhattan's ability just says we take 2 indirect damage. So nothing much to do about that. We'll go down and start the game at 8 health. Now the minion, we have a real choice here. It can be any minion. And I think we have 2 big choices. Either we can go for a little enraged symbiote, which we've seen these already throughout our campaign. This is 2 health, has guard and patrol, so we have to knock it out before doing any main scheme stuff. Or we can start with the bigger symbiotic thrall. And I honestly think we might have to push ourselves a bit and go for the symbiotic thrall. This also has guard. It doesn't have patrol. It cares about having symbiote environments in play, which we don't currently have, but it has 4 health. We have 4 attacks in our deck that can one-shot a 4 health. Either the hard knocks we've added or any copies of our Soul Strike will knock out the Symbiotic Thrall. I kind of, actually, it's sometimes bad to draw Enraged Symbiote as a boost card, because if you draw Enraged Symbiote, it actually puts in play in front of you, and then it'll attack you if you draw it as a boost card, so that's not very good. I think we're going to go for the bigger thing, though, just because if this comes in with 2 health, the same sort of things that knock out the Thrall, we're going to have to spend on the Enraged Symbiote. Unless we find a 2-attack ally, we're still going to have to do a Soul Strike, or we're still going to have to do hard knocks into one of these allies to defeat them. So I think we might as well go for the bigger one. Hopefully that means in the mid to late game, we draw a smaller minion instead of a bigger minion, and hope maybe that matters at that point in the game. I can't tell. But we'll start with the Thrall, 4 health, and guard. And so these are the 2 things we have to deal with. And with the setup done, we can jump in. Now, there's a bit of a continuity error here, and that's because we keep losing. This is a really hard scenario. We've played it a couple times. We've died on turn 1. We've got pretty deep to Venom Goblin 3 and have just died out of nowhere. It's really difficult. And I think solo protection is not a great thing to line up against this. I know I have beat this before. I did a test before I recorded, and it's possible, but it feels like you have to get a bit lucky. The counter deck is really hard. There's a lot of 3 boosts. If the advanced glider comes down and you can't get rid of it, you're kind of cooked. So we're going to keep at this, but yeah, we did have to send this back, which means we're going to shuffle and give 2 more encounter cards. These, if they're from the scenario setup, we'll just shuffle them back. It's easier than just redoing the deck twice. So that'll be 2 cards and we'll do our setup. Now we have made some changes to our deck throughout our games so far. And the 2 big changes we made is we took out Legion and Jocasta, which have been just expensive for how much the game is asking for us. We don't have a lot of breathing room. So spending 3 for an ally, they have to do a lot. So we're getting those out of the deck, and we're playing a 3rd copy of Hard Knocks. And the reason why this is in the deck is because of the advanced glider shows up. You need to be able to get rid of it immediately. And so we just need as many 3-cost events in the deck as we can. So that is in the deck. And of course, we're pulling out the big guns. It's Nick Fury. Nick Fury probably should be in every Marvel Champions deck. It's just one of the best basic cards, so you might as well. And having this card down as a chump blocker for that turn, just draw 3 cards. It just gives you a lot of flexibility. Also in Magic, for what it's worth, it just clears the top of the deck. So if you're looking for synergy icons, or you have something on the top of the deck that you want to play, Nick Fury actually just works out really well. And you have to think when on the turn to play Nick, which is a nice treat. Otherwise, I can report that our setup strat is working well. We're going to start with an Exorcism in our hand before we mulligan, and we have a double mulligan. So Exorcism and our basic activation clears Joyride. We need to find a 4 damage and attack to deal with Symbiotic Thrall. So we have, I think, 5 different cards in our deck that can do it. And then we just have to hope that the first turn, where we draw 4 encounter cards because we can't fully clear Public Outcry, and we don't just lose to that. We're doing okay. It's just the mid game gets really tough if you can't clear Outcry as soon as turn 2, because then it gets really, really hard. And then suddenly there's too many things to deal with. We'll shuffle this deck up and give it another shot. I think I've said this every scenario, but a very important thing to remember and when we're mulliganing as Ileana is that when you flip up to hero, you can grab a spell and put it on top of your deck. And of course, we play the top card of our deck once per phase, reducing its cost by 1. So this Exorcism, we don't actually have to keep in our hand. We can throw it out, and then it's on top of our deck guaranteed, which means we can get the 4th threat off of Joyride and clear it with our basic activation. Otherwise, we're looking for a way to deal with the Symbiotic Thrall. We have 5 different cards in our deck that are attacks that can deal with it. So we need to find something there because we'll clear 1, 2, and then Public Outcry will be at 1 counter, which still means we draw 4 encounter cards, but it's the best we have. With that, good luck, have fun. Exorcism starts in our hand. Hard Knocks. Okay, this is definitely one of the cards that can clear the Symbiotic Thrall, and it's actually really good. It's expensive, but when we defeat the Thrall for 4 damage, we get a toughness, which means the first attack from Venom Goblin, we don't have to stress. Problem with this card is very expensive, so we don't draw one of our double resources. It is a bit much. So we're going to try and mulligan away the Exorcism and try and find some resources. Don't need that. Limbo, super important. Our deck has so many cards that we want to put on top of our deck to set up our defense stuff, because Magic says you can play the top of card of your deck once per phase. And if you're not using that during the villain phase, you're leaving so much value on the table. I wouldn't say Limbo is a luxury because we really want Limbo, but it is a card that on turn 1 doesn't help us that much, but we'll try and keep it and see if it can make sense. This is what I mean, Preemptive Strike. So much better when you can put it on the top of your deck, but we're definitely not going to keep this because it is the hero phase and we won't hold cards into our hand. We want to spend all our cards. One more. We won't keep the X-Jet. It's too expensive. I'll try and hold on to the Limbo. It's likely we can play it, but we definitely need to find some more resources. Next up, Nick Fury. Okay, that actually challenges the rest of the hand. Because if you can play Nick Fury with the other cards in your hand and draw 3, functionally Nick Fury comes down for only 1 resource and is a chump block on turn 1, which is quite nice. So if we find a double resource, Nick will become quite good. Polaris, we don't want to keep, too expensive. Spiritual Meditation, this can be any card of the next 2 cards, so it's almost always worth keeping. And then finally, we have Magic Barrier. I'll definitely get rid of these 2. And here we have to make a good decision whether we want to keep Nick and or Limbo. So we're going to have 2 unknown cards. If one of them is a double resource, that is such a big deal for us, because we can play Helicarrier double and then a whatever card to play Nick Fury. That will draw us 3 cards. Exorcism from the top of the deck costs 1. So actually that's a bit expensive. I think if we can't keep Nick, if we're going to keep Hard Knocks. Because again, say that we have 2 cards here. We don't know what these cards are. If we play 1, 2, 3, plus whatever meditation gives us, right? If we play 4 for Nick Fury, we have 3 more cards in our hand. One of those cards plays the top of the deck, and then Hard Knocks gets played for the other 2 if I've done my math right. So we could keep Nick, but then we don't play Limbo. I think that's fine. We can get Limbo back with a stepping disc, and we haven't seen any so far. So I will keep this. And then we have 2 shots to find a double, which the double might not open up anything. I think if we find a double, we'll just have an extra resource for no reason. So again, Meditation replaces itself. We have 2 cards. We do Helicarrier, the Meditation, 2 cards to play Nick. We draw 3. We're on 5. With 5 cards, 1 plays the top of the deck, 3 then plays Hard Knocks. Yeah, so finding a double doesn't really matter. We'll just still keep this. Nick is a really good blocker and can do some threat work. Next up, Magic's Crown. We almost never keep that, and Preemptive Strike, so these are not good cards, but that's fine. We'll pitch them for stuff. I really don't like Magic's Crown. It's the upgrade we use the least of. Having +1 thwart is good sometimes, but steady is a bit useless when we already have Stalwart because of our wave bracers. Okay, so we have the top of the deck we can set up with the Exorcism. We can hope that we get the Confuse. The Confuse would be quite nice. In theory, we can do the Meditation first or after Nick. If the Meditation finds a double, I don't think it changes our hand. So there's no shot we play Limbo. So I think we might actually, what do we play for this? We do Helicarrier, and then we just have to play 3 other cards for Nick. Sorry, 3 cards for Nick. That draws 3 cards. We're on 5 in hand. Helicarrier plays from the top of the deck. 3 resources plays Hard Knocks. If we draw 2 doubles, that's interesting. Spiritual Meditation won't do it. I'll hold on to Limbo in case there's a chance that I did my math wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is where we start. So we'll just play Nick Fury. I don't think we want to meditate here. I think we just play the Hard Knocks. Oh wait, what's the chance that if we find a Soul Strike, would we rather play Soul Strike or would we rather play Hard Knocks? I think we'd rather play Hard Knocks because 1 resource for a toughness is a pretty good trade, especially because we have the hand to do it. So we'll pitch 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick. When Nick enters play, we will draw 3 cards. We could just do 4 damage, but then we can't play this hand besides playing Limbo. I'd rather have the toughness, so we'll draw 3. X-Gene, oh, that's worth playing. Scrying, that's actually really good that we drew that, and an energy. So that's a good hand. Wow, actually, this unlocks something, I'm pretty sure. So Nick comes in with 3 health. So X-Gene is sick because we can play it on this side. It costs us a card, but luckily we can get the card back because we drew through the double. So if I'm not mistaken, if we pitch Scrying for X-Gene, we can use X-Gene to play the thing that we saw on the top of our deck, and then we can play Hard Knocks. So we don't play Limbo. So either we play X-Gene or Limbo. I'm going to go for the X-Gene here because we haven't seen that many of our identity-specific events yet. And so X-Gene is really good, especially because we start losing cards relatively quickly with Upper Manhattan. All right, we're going to flip up with Ileana. Again, Ileana's text says that when you flip up, you can put a spell on top of your deck. So we will put our Exorcism. We can play that for free with the X-Gene. Its cost is reduced by 1 once per phase, the top of your deck, which we'll play. So X-Gene plays Exorcism, targeting Joyride. Hopefully this is a mental icon. It is. Sick. So that's 4 and a Confuse. It's a good start. We will now pitch 1, 2, 3 for Hard Knocks, targeting the minion. So this does 4 damage, and when this defeats a minion, you get a toughness, which we appreciate. That clears the minion, so 1 counter off the outcry. We will now thwart for 1 into Joyride, which removes the hazard icon and removes 1 counter from this. So unfortunately, we're still drawing 4 encounter cards, and then Nick can thwart for 2. In theory, what you thwart's really important because the counter always goes to the lowest, and if it's tied for lowest, it goes to the other. So no matter what, it's going to go to Upper Manhattan, unless we thwart Lower Manhattan. And if we thwart Lower Manhattan with Nick, we lose some value, but now we can choose where it goes. And when it goes to Lower Manhattan, it puts a threat on everything, which is obviously not great. But I think the big difference is that if it goes to Upper Manhattan, we have to discard a card from our hand. And discarding a card from your hand this early in the game, as much as we have 2 resource generators, feels really bad. Because this is the part of the game where we need to set up and claw for tempo, especially because there's going to be 4 cards on the table. They can be like 2 minions, and then you need every card in your hand to deal with it. So I'm actually going to Nick for 2 into lower so we can manipulate where the glider goes. And with that, we'll pass. That was a good opening for sure. So we have to survive this. 4 encounter cards is just like absolutely wild. It can get away from you. We have Spiritual Meditation, Preemptive Strike, Strength, Stepping Disc. Hard to ignore. The top of the deck is an Exorcism. So at least with Stepping Disc and Exorcism, we have access to some thwart and some attack. So that means no matter what comes off the top of the counter deck, we should be able to clear Public Outcry if we're not unlucky. And that should be it. Midtown goes to 4. The other 2 go to 1. And now Venom Goblin's going to be attacking for 3 and a card. We will block with Nick Fury, who's on the way out anyways. Boost is Evil Alliance. Okay, so that's not going to show up. This adds 1 counter to Pursued by the Past. So that does 3 damage. Nick Fury is defeated. With Nick Fury defeated, Venom Goblin does the claim the throne. We have to move this to the main scheme with the least threat. It's our choice. We're going to go to Lower Manhattan so we can keep our hand. Looking at our hand, does that really matter? Yeah, probably. Probably worth having cards in hand. So Lower Manhattan says we have to put a threat on everything. So 2, 5, 2. Now we draw 2 more encounter cards and hope for the best. First encounter card, Craven. Okay, so this is actually a card we're going to shuffle back and draw a different card because this is from the campaign setup and the 2 cards on the table have to be not from the campaign set. So sorry, that's just because we have to keep resetting and I don't want to do the deck twice. So we'll draw a different card. That could have been the boost card we got off of something, but whatever, it's not a big deal. So the card we'll get instead has to be a non-scenario card. We'll give it a cut. Spreading Panic, that works. So this is going to, I think it surges and adds a bunch of threat because where we are here. I'm glad we didn't go to Upper Manhattan because then we'd lose most of our hand. But Surge, when resolved, resolve the special ability on the scheme of the Collider. So this goes to 3, goes to 6, goes to 3. So a lot of threat. This round we've added so far, and we still have 4 more encounter cards. We've added 9 threat. Yay. Oh, we're not done. Dark Design. So Venom Goblin, place 1 pursuit counter. Venom Goblin schemes. So that's for 2 and a card. 3 boost icons if the activation is an attack. So that's for 5 threat. This goes to 8. Then we have to move this to the least, which is here. So we have to discard a card. We'll get rid of the preemptive. 3 more cards. Enraged Symbiote. Okay, at least we have something we can defeat. And if we defeat this, we'll get rid of Public Outcry. This has Patrol and Guard. Now, Patrol says we cannot thwart the main scheme. And if an encounter card talks about the main scheme, it's the one with the glider. So we can still thwart Lower Manhattan, which is obviously a problem right now. Next up, Smoke Bombs. Cool. There's a bunch of bombs in the set, all from the Goblin gear. I'm not sure what this one does. I've seen the other 2 a bit more consistently. So this says 2 bomb counters. After the villain attacks you, remove a bomb counter, discard an event from your hand with the lowest cost. That is not the worst. We often have extra events in our hand. That still makes us lose a card and also gives +1 attack, but no way we can interact with that. And Symbiotic Berserker. So this one also we could consider jumping down if we get it confused, which I think we can, but it does have 5 health. Okay. We are going to clear Public Outcry. We're going to get it confused, I'm pretty sure. I think. Actually, no, not guaranteed. So I think we want to get the confused. We want to take 4 threat off of this, and we have to defeat the symbiote. We can attack for 2 with Stepping Disc. We'll attack for 1, ready ourselves to attack for 1. So symbiote is no problem. That will clear Public Outcry. And then we just jump down, hopefully, and draw a 6 hand size and go back at it. Great thing about jumping down is that we'll get access to Ilyana. And with Ilyana, we can go get damage for the Berserker. So we're going to start with the meditation here because we want to make sure the top of the deck has mental. We don't have control over that. It just changes the top of the deck. So we'll draw Exorcism. Do we want to play the Exorcism? No, we'll play the top of the deck, which will be an Exorcism anyways, I think. Was going to be a mental. Ooh, Soul Strike. Top of the deck is a mental. That's sick. So we have to discard a card. I think we'll get rid of the Hard to Ignore. So now we have the mental on top of the deck, so we can do 4 threat and confuse. If we did drop this, this will still be the lowest, but we're hoping that Venom Goblin doesn't activate. So we will attack for 1. Mind you, we only have 1 attack. Normally you have 2 attack, which is a lot better with cards like Stepping Disc that will wake you up. But unfortunately here we have -1 attack. So we'll do 1 to Enrage Symbiote. Then we will play Strength for Exorcism. So this removes 4. We'll drop this down to safe levels and we can confuse. And now Venom Goblin is truly confused because of Steady. We will X-Gene for Stepping Disc. This readies us and we can grab a magic card put on top of our deck. So that means we'll control the icon on top of the deck. We haven't played the top of the deck. So we're looking for, we could go for an Exorcism and confuse doesn't matter. So I think we'll go for the Soul Strike. Do we have access to Soul Strike? No, we don't. So we should have done this slightly differently. So what we should have done is that when we paid for the Exorcism, we should have used Helicarrier Soul Strike instead, I think. And this will be in our hand so that the Soul Strike's in the bin. I think that's right. Because now we can use the Stepping Disc to put the Soul Strike on top of our deck. That's probably better. We're ready. We'll attack for 1 into the symbiote. That clears Public Outcry, which is huge. So that's gone. That's good. And now with this on top of the deck, we can play it for 1, overpitching with Strength. I think what we did was a legal play, and that'll do 4 damage to this, dropping it to 1 as well. We still have the Not Today here. Venom Goblin will attack for 4 and a card. I think we have a window here to flip down. Do we actually need to flip down? What's our next hand going to look like? If we flip down, how many Stepping Discs are out? That usually is the card that controls how flexible we are. There's 3 in the deck. We've seen 1 so far. So if we flip down, Venom Goblin attacks for 4, and we have to discard a card from our hand. This will stay here. So I think we don't want this to stay here. I think we'll just flip down and use the Confuse while we can. That flips this down, and we're good to go. This also means the Berserker doesn't activate, which is nice. As much as Retaliate 1 will take it out. 6 cards. Prof. That's good. Magic Barrier. Colossus is not bad. Clear the area. Might not line up. And we have armor. That's really good for defense 2 and retaliate. Top of the deck. We don't look at the top of the deck. We're an alter ego. Got to shuffle, excuse me. So that's our 6-card hand. Not much we have to do here. And the villain goes. All the threats go up. 5, 7 of 12, 4 of 10. Venom Goblin would activate. We're going to cash in the Confuses, which is nice. And then Symbiotic Berserker will scheme for 0. We draw a single encounter card. It's an enraged symbiote. I feel like that's not bad at all. Getting our sword here would be good. This is the one card that the sword lines up well with, because the top of the deck, if it's a physical, we one-shot this thing, which is good. So whatever our issues, let's kind of see what the board's like. Pursued by the Past will happen soon enough. Our hand has Prof, which is good. We could just play the Mystical Armor and let the enraged symbiote defeat itself. We want to do 1 attack into Berserker, so our activation will probably be into the Berserker, just because 3 attack is a lot more than 2 attack. Numbers. We want to put Colossus on top of their deck, but we have no way of doing that. Clear the area won't do much. We can install Prof X. We could play Professor X and then clear the area. X-Chain's not doing anything. Luckily, when we flip up with Ileana, we'll put a spell on top of the deck and use that. The question was, what's the spell going to be? My guess is an Exorcism, and then we play the Exorcism for free for the top of the deck. We play Professor X for 2, and we play Mystical Armor and then float a card, I guess. Because that is a chance of giving us double Confuse, which is nice. We've seen 1 Dark Design so far, which is the advanced equivalent in Standard 3. We can also play Colossus. Colossus is tough, so we don't want to use Colossus, but Colossus could defeat the symbiote. I'm not too concerned about the symbiote. What Smoke Bombs do again? Oh, discards a card from our hand, right? And that means we'll have to discard another card because of upper. This discards the cheapest event. Shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think we're going to recover. I think we're going to step up because we want to attack the Berserker. So we will just flip up with Ileana, and we got to use the text. So we don't get to see the card underneath it. So if we want to get the Confused here, we got to get lucky. So either we do Soul Strike, which is a bit extra. Has to be a spell. So the only other option is Exorcism. Mind you, Enraged Symbiote is protecting the upper Manhattan because it does have Patrol, so we cannot thwart the main scheme. But the main scheme for encounter cards is the one with the token. So if we do thwart Midtown Manhattan, then this will be a 3. So the counter will move over there and we take 2 indirect. I don't want to do that. If we put on lower Manhattan, this will go up to 9 of 12, which is also kind of frightening. So we could just deal with upper Manhattan and keep it on upper Manhattan and just keep discarding cards, which is not a great combination with Smoke Bombs. Is Venom really still have the toughness? Okay. I think we want to keep it here. I think getting this higher would be bad. This firing is really bad for us because we just don't have enough threat mitigation. And so far with 2 research generators, I'm feeling okay discarding 2 cards. Knock on wood. Okay. I guess we'll start with the Exorcism. We'll target up. Oh, we can't because of the symbiote. Shit. Okay, never mind. So we have to be a bit flexible. It says, while this minion is in play, you cannot thwart. What is the text on Patrol? I never remember the text on Patrol. Patrol is defined as that player cannot use cards they control to thwart the main scheme. So that one we can't deal with. So we could take 4 threat off of this, 3 threat off of this. That would put this at 1. This would put this at 4. That's fine. That's probably what we're doing because we don't have anything else we can do. We could defeat the symbiote by playing Colossus. We could do Colossus, loses the tough on the symbiote, which feels pretty bad. That doesn't feel good. Oh, we only have retaliate 1. We need to play the armor to retaliate 2. So hold on. So we do Helicarrier, that's 1, 2, 3. We play the armor, we play the top of the deck, we hold Colossus. That's also fine. Yeah, I like that. I think that's what we do. And then Rage Symbiote is just going to bounce off of our retaliate, unfortunately. All right, we will definitely attack for 1 into the Berserker. Nice. So we still have Guard and Patrol. So I will X-Gene to play the top of the deck. It's Exorcism. We will target, I think we've decided to target first. I'm not sure the order that you play a card. So we'll target this one, Midtown, because it'll do the most. So remove 4 threat. At the top of the deck it's a mental. Sick. So we get half a Confuse and 7 goes down to 3. It's not the main scheme. It's a main scheme. We will pitch Magic Barrier for Mystical Armor. This gives us more of my favorite word in this game, Retaliate. Retaliate's sick, and sometimes we'll get defense. As much as we don't have Limbo to control it, our +1 defense will be good. And then we're going to pitch Helicarrier, clear the area, not today, and Professor X. Excuse me, for Professor X, who will come into play. You have another Confuse. We could have readied ourselves to double attack the symbiote, but I don't think that's great. Comes in with 3 health. Will only last 1 turn, so we're going to block with Prof X. Prof X will thwart for 3 off of this, making this the lowest. That's good. We thwarted 7 in a turn. Seems necessary. And then we'll just pass, holding on to Colossus, which we can always play Colossus in a pinch. I wonder if we shouldn't hold on to Colossus, whether we should hold on to like a... No, that's fine. Do we hold on to Colossus? I think there's a reason we want to hold on to Colossus, and it's mostly because of Smoke Bombs. Because after the villain attacks, you remove a bomb counter, discard an event. If we have no events, we actually just get Colossus for free and we cheat around that. So I think we want to keep Colossus so we can dump events from our hand when the attack happens. But then Colossus blocks, so Professor X loses some value. We know we're not drawing into 1 event, but we're going to be drawing 3 more cards. and we're going to be putting threat on everything. I think we do play Colossus. I think we'll hold on to Colossus. Not today. That's an event. That's an event. Not an event. So we can pitch 2 events for Colossus there. That'll be fine. Okay, no limbo. We don't have limbo. So threat goes up 3. This goes to 4. This goes to 5. And Venom Goblin's attacking for 4 and a card. Oh, that means in theory, Professor X could block. Oh, wait, but then we lose our toughness to the Enraged Symbiote. That's pretty bad. Hold on. We cooked this. We got to slow down. So Enraged Symbiote's going to be attacking for 2. We can block with Prof X. If we want to spend 2 resources just to play Colossus, that's not that good. So maybe we just let the Smoke Bombs throw out a Not Today and we keep Stepping Disc, which is a much more flexible card. We shouldn't have held on to Colossus, but that's okay. Getting down Sorcerer Supreme would be incredible because Sorcerer Supreme just gives us +1 hand size, and that's obviously just absurd. Yeah, I think we just block with Prof X and throw out the Not Today. So Venom Goblin will attack. We'll block with Prof X. So it's for 4. It's Electro. Glad not to draw that guy. 7 damage. That defeats Professor X. We have 2 triggers here. First trigger, the order doesn't really matter. We'll do Smoke Bombs first. They're both forced. After the villain attacks, you remove a bound counter, discard an event. So we'll discard Not Today. Then we remove this, or we move this to the lowest, which is Lower Manhattan, which causes us to put a threat on everything. So every scheme goes up 1, 4, 5, 6. Now Enraged Symbiote attacks us for 2. We will not block. So unfortunately, I'll take our toughness off, but Retaliate 2 will defeat the symbiote. Single encounter card, and we still have a Confuse. It's Back Alley. Okay, this one actually doesn't really matter. This is one of our community service cards that we added. So it has Surge, which means we'll draw something else, but we don't care about Victory. There's nothing that punishes us. In fact, having this in play means if we draw Master Plan, it puts a threat here and we don't have to draw another card, which is cool. Under Fire, okay, we're not done surging. Good old expert. So this just says, when revealed, reveal the next card and then Surge. Smear Campaign, that's not good. This also has Surge. So if it's not in play, Public Outcry, place 2 threat on the main scheme. That'll be this scheme because the main scheme is defined by the Glider. Did we took the Surge? I think we did. Darkchild. Oh, cool. This is actually kind of an interesting card because we can choose to flip down. And if we choose to flip down, that means when we flip up, we can go grab an Exorcism. And so I'm going to flip down. And then it says either we can take a damage or exhaust Ileana. Exhausting Ileana, we can always recover, so that's worth more. Or we can just take a single damage here. I don't think this is that bad of an encounter card. So either I think we take 1 damage and then we can always recover and then we full recover. So I'm going to just take 1. Last card. Spike Gauntlet also has Surge. So this one's not that bad. It just says that the villain gets +1 attack and getting rid of this is really hard. So we're just going to pretend that Venom Goblin has 4 attack. This one we have to get rid of. For this, we're definitely going to search down an Exorcism because we cannot leave this one around. Not only does it have a hazard icon, my least favorite icon, it has 5 threat and each tech attachment gains Surge. In terms of tech attachments, there's like at least 4 or 5. I think we can check, but I think there's at least, 4 already. We've seen 1 so far. So we can count how many more there are. I think there's still at least 4 in the deck. So anyways, we don't want that. We're going to get rid of it anyways because of the symbol it has on it. But that is it. That's back to us. Oh, we don't know the Soul Sword is there. We do know, but it is flipped down. So our activation plus we can go get an Exorcism. We'll deal with Limitless Supply. 6 threat is a lot. 6 threat's a lot. So we also just have to be threatening out a fair bit. This might be a fine time to play Sorcerer Supreme, but I don't think we were able to recover here. So I'm glad we didn't exhaust because 5 is a really bad breakpoint if we have exhausted. I don't think the Stepping Disc is going to be that useful because our Ready's not that useful and we're going to play the top of the deck anyways. So I think we just flip up. Ileana flips up, gets to put a spell on top of the deck. We'll go for that Exorcism. We're about to deck out. I think not this turn, but the next turn. So this we can play for free with X-Gene, which is so good. We're going to play it. We're going to target Limitless Supply. It's drawing a lot of heat. So that's 4 threat. If we get the Confuse here, it's useless, but we didn't. Oh, we knew that card. Shouldn't have been a surprise. And then we'll thwart for 1, clearing this. So the villain's attacking for 6. We lost our toughness. Oh, we played that with the X-Chain, of course. So we can play Armor, Sorcerer Supreme, call it a day. So we will. 2 for the Sorcerer Supreme. Don't think I've had the time to get this on the table in any of our games so far, but +1 hand size obviously is massive. And then we'll exhaust the Helicarrier to play Armored Vest. That gives us +1 block. I'll just slide it over here because we don't need to touch it. And so now we're blocking for 6, which we're being attacked for at least 5. That's it. We'll draw up. Good thing with double Confuse is that if we draw the Dark Design, I think there's 1 left. We won't have to worry about it too much. Soul Sword, clear the area. Soul Strike, Unflappable, not today. And luckily, a Stepping Disc, top of the deck, is a Spiritual Meditation. 5 cards left, so we will deck out. And here, we have some good options with Stepping Disc, so it's very likely we'll try and we'll block for sure, and then we'll go and get our Exorcism back, which does actually have a Confuse, which might matter. All right, this goes to 7. We're behind on threat. This goes to 7 of 10 as well, so very scary on 2 of the fronts. If any of these are completed, we don't lose the game, but it gets so difficult that if you're not playing a rush strategy, I think you're cooked. With the way that we play, where again, somehow Venom Goblin's still in 18 health because we haven't blocked yet, it'll be a huge issue. Attacking for 3, 4, 5, and a card. We will block. We're going to have to discard an event from your hand. This should have gone down 1. If we play Not Today and don't take damage, that'll be nice. That means we'll have to discard Stepping Disc or clear the area, though. I think I'm okay playing Not Today. It's blocking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5. So if it's a triple block, we get hosed. We're not necessarily going to need Soul Strike, so we could pitch that. And that means we're going to lose this. This has to slide over to there, and then we lose another card. So our hand size gets absolutely shredded. So I think we just block here. I think spending 2 cards on potentially 2 threat is not a good exchange, especially when we don't know where we're going to be drawing into. So 3, 4, 5, we're blocking for 5. 3 boost, glad that we did not draw, or we did not commit because we wouldn't have blocked out. This is We Are 1. It's good to know where this is, but that is attacking for 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We block for 5. So we take 3. Scary. We get attacked again. We're kind of dead. Like, that's just how it goes. Yeah, if we get attacked again, we're cooked. We have a couple things to do. Smoke bombs. Well, firstly, we do retaliate 1, so take that toughness. We might have to flip down and recover. Smoke bombs fires. This loses his last counter, which is nice. And then we have to discard 1 event from our hand, the lowest cost event. So it's probably clear the area. Oh, it's actually definitely Not Today. We can't use that. This goes to the lowest. Upper Manhattan says we have to discard a card from our hand. So it's probably unflappable. No, probably Soul Sword. We never play that. We draw 1 encounter card. Hoping for the best. Master plan. Fantastic. This is really good that we have this back alley burglary because it says place 4 threat on each side scheme. These are all main schemes. So this goes to 6, which again, we don't care about. So great. We got a free encounter card there. So this will be 8 of 10, 8 of 10, 7 of 12. That's not good. We need to recover. That's for sure. The extra confuse off the top of the deck with an exorcism doesn't really matter. So this hand is probably just a setup hand, and then we have to flip down and recover. So I'm going to do X-Gene for Stepping Disc. This readies us so we can recover, and we can put a card on top of our deck. So we have to do the threat card. We're going to be drawing 2 cards because we're going to flip down, and I think we're going to just deck out. But that is on top of the deck now. We will Helicarrier to play the exorcism. Which one are we targeting? I think we'll target Upper Manhattan because it's the closest to losing. So 7. Exorcism removes 4 threat, so this goes down to 3. We get it confused, but you can't stack 3 confused on a steady. We're ready so we can heal. Then I think we just set up as many of these cards as we can, which is actually not that many cards. So Unflappable is definitely a card we want, but I think we just have to do Clear the Area because we need all the threat we can get to. So I will pitch the Soul Strike for the Clear the Area. This removes 2. We can't clear anything, so no area is actually going to get cleared, but we'll take 2 off of this, and that'll give us a bit of safety. We will flip down, as does this card, and we'll recover for 3. Okay. We'll pass. Will we hold on to Unflappable? Let's see how many cards we're drawing. We're drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to deck out no matter what. Unflappable is probably worth playing because we're going to transition to the point where we'll block every turn. We definitely want Limbo. I think we can hold on to Unflappable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Weird hand. Hard Knocks is definitely good if we get a minion. That's for sure. We're going to draw 2 encounter cards, so we might just get a minion. Shuffle up. This is the least amount of damage I've done in this many turns. I think if we get another exorcism really quickly, we can stabilize a bit of the threat on the table. Luckily, if Venom Goblin doesn't activate because Venom Goblin's confused, that means that the glider doesn't fire its thing again. So it's kind of like any of these other villains that have a strong ability attached to activation, that the more you can confuse or stun them, obviously the less the board creeps away from you. To get rid of the Spike Gauntlet, the villain has to attack us. That is just so bad in this scenario because then you have to do the whole glider thing again. So we're almost never going to do that unless we have like a way to give 2 toughness in the same turn, or we have a chump block that is going to leave, or we want to leave because it hits like the deck cycle or something. So we have 6 cards, so we don't look at the top. Got to remember that because of course we're in alter ego, and that's it. All these goes up to 4 to 6 to 7. Venom Goblin won't activate because it's truly confused, and 2 encounter cards here. If it could be bad. Always could be bad. We want to find a 4 health. Sinister Strike. Okay, this one just gets Surge. If we draw Belasco, it's not the worst here. So this one, just because we're in alter ego, gets a counter and gets Surge. So we're 1 counter away. Never mind, we found it. So Sinister Strike. Does this still get Surge? So place 1 counter, then if it has counters, this card gets Surge. It doesn't have counters, so Pursued by the Past hits 4, and when this hits 4, we get our Nemesis. This has a chance of being good for us because we get Belasco, and Belasco has 6 health, so we have something to defeat. But the best part about this, obviously Belasco's text, is that we have Ruler of Limbo, which comes into play. And Ruler of Limbo is going to go grab Limbo, and we actually really want Limbo. So while we can't deal with it until we defeat Belasco, our hand has a hard knock, so it should be within the realm of possibility. We now get to put a Limbo underneath here, and if we clear this, we get Limbo back. I need to remember that we can't take threat off of this until we defeat Belasco, so we have some work. It's actually a bit more worrisome as we add 3 cards into the deck from our Nemesis set. 2 of them are big minions. One of them has Quick Strike, one adds threat. These get shuffled in. Our last card in the meantime, bombs. These bombs are kind of annoying. These are concussive bombs. And these say not only do we give +1 attack to Venom Goblin, but when Venom Goblin attacks, we have to exhaust some support and an upgrade. Very cool that you can exhaust an upgrade that doesn't have text, requires exhausting. So like we can exhaust the Sorcerer Supreme, or you can exhaust Wave Bracers, but exhausting a support is not great because our Helicarrier is good and Limbo is pretty good if we get that. All right, what are we doing here? We need to do a bit more damage to Belasco. We have 3 damage in hand. Unfortunately, that's not enough to defeat Belasco. So finding an ally would be good. I don't know if we have any card draw. If we have a meditation, I think we have a meditation. Yeah, we do. If we can find a Nick Fury, oh my God, is it so good. Even if we find a Polaris, is it really good? Because Polaris can defeat Belasco on top of, oh, all right, we decked out. So we don't have access to any of our spells to put on top of the deck. So Spiritual Meditation needs to do a lot of work. You can always put Spiritual Meditation itself back on top of your deck, which is like, you lose the resource, but it is technically card draw positive. So draw 2, discard 1. Hard to ignore. Soul Strike. That Soul Strike is perfect. We'll discard the Soul Strike so we can put that on top of our deck. Now that goes there. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. I sometimes put, yes, I did. I need to shuffle this into the deck too. That's an exorcism. That's really important that's in the deck. So we could have drawn into that. I'm glad I checked because that's such an important card. So we lose that off the meditation potentially, but what can you do? I don't know why that keeps happening. It's so frustrating. Okay. So that means when we flip up, we can put a Soul Strike on top. If we can defeat Belasco, we can do Ileana plus clear the area into Ruler of Limbo, and that'll be very good because then we get Limbo back and then we have 2 supports to choose from. So we're going to have to probably hard Nox Belasco on top of playing the top of our deck, which is possible. That means we need to activate ourselves so we can't recover. Problem is like Goblin's still attacking for 5 in a card. And if we get a double activation, we can just die. It's just a problem. We don't have enough minions, we can just die. Or if we don't have enough allies. So we're going to flip up and Ileana will put the Soul Strike on top of the deck. We will start by exchanging the Soul Strike, targeting Belasco. This just does 4 damage. We might get a stun. It probably won't matter. We do get the stun. That's cool. That just does 4 damage. Down to 2. Okay, so now I think we're going to go get our toughness. So we'll do Helicarrier, Genius for hard knocks. I've actually been really impressed by this card, as much as it's very expensive. 4 damage and a toughness because we've defeated is really great. And at this point now, we are able to challenge the Ruler of Limbo side scheme. So Magic will thwart for 1. We will now play Clear the Area. Is it more important to have a hard ignore or inflappable? I think hard to ignore is more important. So we'll clear the area with unflappable. So if this clears a side scheme or any scheme, we draw a card, and we do. When Ruler of Limbo is cleared, not only do we get rid of the Amplify, we get back Limbo, which allows us to swap a card from our hand to the top of the deck. One of our most important cards. Glad to finally see it. We draw a card. So we know it's a magic barrier. The top of the deck is now a preemptive. So the magic barrier is pretty good as much as we have a toughness. So I think we'll hold on to hard to ignore. I think we do. With Limbo now, we somewhat consistently have 6 block because we can put something on top of our deck with mystical armor. So that's good. So it's either we keep the magic barrier, which I don't think we do. So I think we'll just keep hard to ignore. We're only drawing 1 encounter card. So we probably will have only 1 minion at worst. In terms of stepping discs, all 3 are in the deck, and stepping disc means we can get Soul Strike, which is important if we find a minion. Do we want to hold on to this hard to ignore? I think we need this because this is one of our thwarting cards that will thwart 2 around, which fights the 3 around that enters. If Venom Goblin schemes, we're not in a good spot. Pass. We're holding on. This is going okay. They usually go okay, and then suddenly there's a spike, but we're doing okay, I guess. Drop. Preemptive, we can put that on top of our deck. Scrying. We have a strength. We have another spiritual meditation or a spiritual meditation. We have a stepping disc. Top of the deck is a hard knocks. Here, we can decide to use Limbo. Very importantly, after Venom Goblin activates, we have to exhaust an upgrade in our support. So exhausting an upgrade is trivial. Exhausting a support is a bit more annoying because we only have 2 options, Limbo and Helicarrier. So we could use Limbo now, which means we lose Helicarrier. We're also going to lose a card because Upper Manhattan is going to fire, so we have to discard a card from our hand. But that's maybe not the worst. We could always play Preemptive Strike for free and do some damage to Venom Goblin. I think we just have to do some damage. And that means we technically have defended, and we won't take any damage because of our toughness unless the attack gets piercing. And that means we can remove a threat with hard to ignore. So I think we will do this swap here. So we'll use Limbo to swap the hard knocks in our hand with the preemptive. Did we add threat to any of these schemes? I don't think we did. 5, 8, 7. And now Venom Goblin's going to attack for 3, 4, 5, and a card. We will, using magic, play Preemptive Strike from the top of the deck using this once per phase ability, so it's free. We reveal the next card, which is not a mental icon, as much as some thwarting is good. So we are technically blocking. Actually, no, we don't do this yet, excuse me, because this is only when we reveal the card. So Sorry we saw the card underneath it, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do it no matter what. So this has, oh, now we can't. So I have to shuffle the deck. This is spreading panic. So if I'm not mistaken, we cannot cancel this because it doesn't have icons. It says resolve the special ability on the scheme with the glider counter. So we have to discard a card from our hand. That sucks. Not a bad hand. The hard knocks might be the worst card, but if we draw the glider, we're going to feel really silly. So I guess we'll get rid of the spiritual meditation. So that's 3, 4, 5 damage. We can't play the preemptive. I'll shuffle the deck because I don't think you're allowed to play the preemptive unless it changes the game state, because this thing had no icons to cancel. So sucks. That means we wasted our limbo, but that's still on top of the deck. All right, triggers. This moves to where it's the least, which is still at upper, which means we have to discard another card. Hard Knocks is probably the worst card in our hand, but if we draw a minion, we're in a really bad spot. Stepping Disc is sick because we have X-Gene, so we can set up an Exorcism. Maybe we get rid of Scrying? So we have to exhaust an upgrade or a support. So we'll exhaust this upgrade, and the support will exhaust. We have no choice. It has to be this. So we still have to discard a card. If I discard the Hard Knocks and we draw the Advanced Glider, I will lose my mind. That'll be so bad. So I'm going to hold this in case we draw an enemy. That means if we do Hard Knocks, if we play it, Scrying gives us options. Stepping Disc wakes us up. We want to be woken up. Oh, we take the toughness off. Retaliate 2. I mean, it's damage. So that's good. But what do we get rid of? Heart Ignore seems super important because that's the only way that we kind of like tread water. I think it's the Scrying, and we just hope that this hand is good enough. It's a playable hand. Okay, I think that's it. Encounter card. This goes down by 1. We've exhausted an upgrade or a support. Swinging Assault. Okay. So that's not good. The villain attacks you. Give the villain additional boost card for this activation. So Goblin's attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could die. Luckily, we have the preemptive setup. And with the preemptive setup, we have a chance of canceling something that does a lot of damage. So it's not likely we die. In fact, I think it's really, really hard for us to flatline here. We're attacking for 5 and 2 cards. Oh no, it's actually very likely that we flatline onto this. Here we go. 5. No boost icons. Symbiotic Thrall. Place 1 threat on each main scheme without the glider counter. So this goes to 8. This goes to 9. So we're still being attacked for 5. Okay. Glider counter's there. This is huge because now we can do preemptive. Preemptive Strike says when a boost card is turned face up, we play this. So we get to see a new card off the top of the deck. That's important. It's a Stepping Disc. This means we get +1 block, but that doesn't matter. This says when a boost card is turned face up, when a villain attacks, cancel those boost icons, and then we'll do 3 damage back. That means we were attacked for 3, 4, 5 damage. We take 5 damage. We do retaliate 2. And then we have to do all the bad triggers. So we have to discard a card from our hand. We have to exhaust an upgrade or a support. We did take damage. We'll exhaust this. It's fine. And then we have no supports to exhaust. So Concussive Bombs is gone. That's fine. Cool. And then we have to discard a card from our hand. We know there's a Stepping Disc on top of the deck. So we can't do double confuse. The Hard Knocks is now useless. We'll discard the Hard Knocks. We're at 2 health. That is the issue of doing a double attack. If you don't play allies, and our deck doesn't have enough allies, I don't think. So we can now play the top of the deck. The problem is if we Stepping Disc the top of the deck, we can't play the card. We know there's an energy on the top of the deck, which is the worst. We could consider jumping down, bring this down to 1. This will go to 10. This will go to 9. But we probably have to jump down and recover. I think it's our only shot here. It's like obviously very dodgy, but what else can we do? Right? Like we're on 2 health. Venom's attacking for 4 in a card. Like we have a good defense, but if we can't jump down now, it's not great. We have to stabilize. So I'm going to X-Gene for the Stepping Disc, which readies us and puts a magic card on top of our deck. Pretty sure we have an Exorcism, right? Oh my God, we don't have an Exorcism? I thought we had an Exorcism. Panic. Wait, we don't have an Exorcism. So we could put a Scrying on top of the deck and hopefully get an Exorcism. Like that's not great. But I thought we had a threat card. We don't. Oof, that's bad. So we can put Scrying or Spiritual Meditation. Scrying's a bit better because you see more cards, right? We're ready. Again, we're going to put 6 on this. Venom Goblin's going to activate 7, 8. And so if it's a 2 boost icon, we lose. So we need to do some threat off this. So Scrying hopefully finds something. Look at the top 3 cards. Did we throw out a Stepping Disc? I think we did. No, there's one underneath it. So we can play that one again. So we'll play this. Look at the top 3 cards of the deck. Draw 1. Discard 1. Please. Oh, that's bad. Add 1 to the top of your deck. So we can't play the top of the deck anymore because Limbo's exhausted. So none of these do any threat. So that might mean that we have to stay up and get attacked and just block and hope that Not Today sets it up. And with double Hard to Ignore, we can do something. We could thwart 1 and still hop down, and then Upper Manhattan will go to 4, 5. Venom Goblin activates 6, 7, and we have 3 boosts that goes to 10. that is an option, is we can just jump down and say like, show me what you got. There's a lot of 3 boosts. I don't know how many there are, but almost all the cards that we've added to the deck are 3 boosts. And while we've seen a fair few, we could maybe take a risk there. So that's pretty bad. So one of these goes on top. Oh boy, back here again. These are pretty common feelings and we still have so much work to do. So what do we possibly do? So we play Stepping Disc, we can ready ourselves, which means at the minimum we can thwart 1. We'd have to play it instead of the Hard to Ignore. I think we'd rather play the Hard to Ignore. And if we don't take damage, we're in a good spot. So I think we take the Not Today. We'll throw out this Soul Strike. We'll add this to our hand. It won't really matter. So we're ready. So we can thwart for 1 and then flip down. That means this will be on 4, 5, activate 6, 7. And then if it's a 3 boost, we lose. That's like not great odds. Again, I don't know how many 3 boosts there are. We've seen a lot. It's like, we've just seen a lot. The other options, we can decide to block. If we block, the best case scenario is we remove 4 threat from different schemes. And that's really good. And then we can jump down. So maybe we have to hope. The problem is if it's a double attack, then we're cooked. In terms of the double attacks, how many have we seen? I think there's 2 Swinging Assaults, 2 Sinister Strikes. Those are in a row. So it's only 1 more Swinging Assault, I think. I think there's only 2 in the deck. I think we're going to just hope that we block. I'd rather lose to attacking and defending and doing our thing than losing to flipping down and not doing anything. So I'm going to play Strength for another Hard to Ignore. So I'm going to stack these. That can exhaust them if we defend and don't take damage. And then I don't think we'll keep on Stepping Disc. Actually, I don't really want to because it's not that good. So we don't have any exorcisms. So I'm going to throw out the Stepping Disc. We'll thwart for 1. This will go up to 10. If we draw a boost card, they'll add 11 to it. That's okay. This will go to 9, 10. So I think we just keep this down because there's a chance we'll have to flip down. And we'll pass. Pretty frightening. At least we're only be attacking for 4, which is the least it's been in a while. So we're drawing the Not Today. We're going to be drawing 5 more cards and we can limbo the top of the deck. Clear the area. Preemptive, that's good. Clear the area. Please get us an exorcism. Prof X. I'm going to check the discard pile. We didn't throw them all out. Preemptive strike. So a lot of damage. Top of the deck is a Polaris. Okay, not great. But make sure we didn't goof this. Nope, all the exorcisms are still in the deck. And our Professor X. Oh no, Professor X is in our hand, of course. So that's really good. So if we draw an exorcism, we can maybe do something. So the card that we can put on top of the deck, I think we're going to limbo to swap with Not Today. So we can play that for free because we're definitely blocking. This means we'll see the card underneath it. And that means we'll have a bigger chance of finding our exorcism, which we definitely want. So these go up. 5, scary. 10, very scary. 9. And Venom Goblin's attacking for 4 in a card. We will block for 5. And for free off the top of the deck, we'll play Not Today, revealing hopefully an energy icon. An energy icon, Stepping Disc, 6. So we technically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 block, 6, 7, 8. So I don't think there's any chance we can take damage here. Venom Goblin's attacking for 5. 1 on improvised weapons. So we could have flipped down. That's good to know. Results oriented thinking is healthy. So then we have a bunch of triggers to do, but the forced triggers happen first on Venom Goblin. So we have to move this to the lowest, which is still here. And we have to discard a card from our hand. I think we'll get rid of a preemptive strike because if we're attacked for damage anyways, it doesn't matter if we return any of the damage, we'll just die because we can't block. So we still got to get lucky that the next encounter card doesn't defeat us. That's that. And then we have our triggers. So Not Today triggers and Hard to Ignore triggers. They both say remove 2 threat from a scheme, while Hard to Ignore says from the main scheme, because there are cards we can choose where the threat comes off. So we'll definitely do 1 threat here. If we want to flip down, we want to do more threat off of this. So Not Today, we'll do 2 threat here. Professor X, and then we have 1 more Hard to Ignore. Guess we'll just keep these even. Almost threw that into the wrong bin. And we draw 1 encounter card. How bad is that? That's all, never good. Remote navigation. If advanced glider is in play, the villain activates against you. If it's not in play, search it for advanced glider. So looking at our hand, we need to find a 3 attack. We don't have one, but it doesn't mean we can't find one. But unfortunately, the advanced glider is here. That is probably how we lose. As it usually is how you lose. The advanced glider is just the most absurd single encounter card in the whole game. The only way to get rid of this is to discard some attack cards. In terms of attack cards that cost 3, we have 2 hard knocks in the bin. We have 1 soul strike in the bin. So we either need to draw... No, both soul strikes are in the bin. So we have to draw our 1 hard knocks. Top of the deck is now available. We survived, but if we scheme twice, we're in a bad spot. Either we get attacked for 4. God, this card is so frustrating. It just does way too much. So we can draw through our deck by playing Clear the Areas. We can block 1 ourselves, block 1 with Prof X. I think we have to do that. I don't think we can jump down. We just can't afford to jump down. If we Stepping Disc, we can put something on top of the deck. The problem is we want to see deeper to the deck, so we could Stepping Disc. Oh, we can't play it because it's on top of the deck. So if he's scrying, we can't play the scrying because it's on top of the deck. Unless we clear with the Clear the Area, which is really difficult. Actually, it's not impossible. So the only tricky way out here is we could stepping disc to ready ourselves. We could threat one here. Then we could clear the threat, draw a card. So we draw this stepping disc. Oh, no, we'll draw whatever we put on top of the deck with stepping disc. So then we can draw scrying. If we play the scrying, we get to see 3 cards. And if the scrying finds the 1 card in our deck of like 14, then we have a shot. This will be clear. So either we can jump down or we can just play Prof X. I think that's our only shot. So I will play stepping disc for free off the top of the deck because we still don't have access to exorcism. So we'll play the stepping disc, revealing the card underneath it while this resolves. It's there. Wait, that's huge. Okay, we have a chance here. So that's going to ready us. And now we have to put a magic card on top of our deck. It might be responsible to put Colossus. Colossus is not here. So we put Scrying, of course. Never mind. That was the plan the whole time. All right. Okay, holding on. Then we'll throw it for 1 to this. And then we will use Helicarrier to play Clear the Area, which clears the threat from a scheme. That was absurd. Which clears this, and then we draw a card. Okay. We also could jump down because Venom scheming twice here means the counter will stay there, so we might not lose. Now we play Scrying. Scrying says, look at the top 3. 1, 2, 3. Put 1 on top, 1 in the bin. So Hard Knocks is definitely in our hand. So we can either set up the energy or the meditation. I'm going to set up the energy. I think the rest of our deck isn't that expensive, though. Okay. We throw out the Hard Knocks for the glider. Oh my god, that was a 1 in like 14. So get rid of this. Huge in 1 turn. That's why we play 3 copies. I was playing 2 copies and getting really frustrated. You can see why that is. And so now Venom is only attack us for 1, or attack us once. So I think the best we can do is still just play Professor X. So we'll definitely play Professor X. We can ready ourselves. We'll go for the half confuse. So we'll confuse Venom Goblin. We'll block 1 attack here. We can block 1 attack with ourselves. The attack is overkill. I think we just lose, but that's great. We'll do this down to... Wait, this is at 9 of 12. This is at 8 of 11. So it's about the same. We'll take 3 off of this and we'll pass. What was the other card we had instead of energy? It was a meditation. Yeah, that's actually probably fine too. We're going to discard cards though. So having an energy is good. We'll draw up to 6. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. 6. The problem is if we're on low health, it's like hard for us to block. And if it's hard for us to block, we don't do retaliate damage, which is almost where all our damage comes from. Do we want a limbo? We're not planning to block. So putting limbo with the not today on top of your deck is not super useful. We also have the exorcism set up, so I'm not going to do that. These all go up. This goes to 9 of 11. This goes to 7 of 12, and this goes to 1. Venom Goblin attacks for 4 on a card. If this has overkill, we lose. Block. Boost, put this in play with you. Oh shit, now we have to block this. All right, that's actually not maybe the worst. So Professor X is defeated. Then Rage Symbiote goes into play when you draw it. So you always have to watch out. You have a bit of padding. Now we do all the triggers. So this stays here, which means for Upper Manhattan, we have to discard a card. So I think we'll get rid of the Soul Sword. Probably the X-Jet. No shot we're playing that. Okay, now Enraged Symbiote is going to attack us for 2. If we block, we defeat it. We also hard to ignore. If we block with Not Today, we also remove 2 threat. The issue is that opens us up for Venom Goblin to attack, but I think we just have to do this. Do we play 2 cards for 2 threat? That leaves us with barely enough to play Prof X, and we still have an encounter card waiting. So we want to Exorcism for sure. So that's 1 resource. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think, no, we just need our resources because we need to play Prof X and Exorcism. Or sorry, we need to play Nick Fury. So I'll just block. We block for 5. Enraged Symbiote takes Retaliate 2. Hard to ignore us. We did block. We didn't take damage. We should find our unflappable. We can remove 2 threat. So we'll remove 2 threat from this. That's why we need these. These are the only way that we can be kind of competitive for threat. Single card, not an attack. Webbed up, fine. Attach your identity. When you would attack, don't, and then discard this. You are stunned. We're stalwart, so we can't be stunned. I think here we have a chance. We will deck out, so we'll draw 2 encounter cards, which is a bit sketch. But we can definitely get the second confused guaranteed, and then we can hop down. So again, if we were going to play Nick Fury, we'll draw cards. Issue is Nick Fury will miss the cycle. That's kind of bad. So in theory, we can actually force the attack from Spiked Gauntlet, so Nick Fury can block. So getting rid of 1 attack kind of matters, but we're now blocking for 5 to 6 consistently, so it's not the worst. We have Limbo, so we can start with Exorcism. That does this. That leaves us as 1, 2, 3. So I think we do X-Gene Helicarrier for Exorcism. Remove 4 threat. So 7, we'll do this one. So 7 goes down to 3. And we get confused because the top of the deck is the way it is. We might not play Nick then, because we're going to jump down. We won't play Nick. I think we'll just swap Nick with the top of the deck, but we want to play the top of the deck. Wait, this hand sucks. This hand's not good. We can play the crown to get it out of rotation. Then we can play the sword to get it out of rotation. We can just hold Nick. We could do limbo to swap the crown with the sword. We could do energy to play the crown. So this sometimes gives us +1 thwart, which is nice, I guess. But steady doesn't matter when we're stalwart. And then we'll play Soul Sword from the top of the deck for free using magic. This gives us +1 attack sometimes, but it gives our attack piercing, which is nice. But 2 attack, it really matters to those symbiotes, which is good. And I think here, oh, we're exhausted. We can't ready. Do we jump down? I think we're committing to jumping down. So we'll just hop down. That means we can play Nick Fury on the next. We'll discard this and we'll draw up to 6. So we're going to draw 2 encounter cards. We have to hope that it's not awful, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, there's our Exorcism and our Colossus. We were looking for that. We get 1 encounter card. All right, we're turning the corner. Now with our Retaliate and our magic barriers that we can kind of lean on, that does 5 damage every time Venom Goblin attacks us. That's good. Magic Barrier and Preemptive are our big damage cards. The issue is that when Venom Goblin advances, we get 4 encounter cards. So we really want to set that up on a turn that we have Prof X or Nick Fury or basically a chump blocker, because we're going to get attacked multiple times, and playing without any allies getting attacked multiple times is a death sentence for sure. We're going to have to get rid of this webbed up before that happens too, because if there's multiple minions on the table, that's obviously an issue for us. So we basically need to prepare for it. And sometimes a bit awkward, because if you have Retaliate too and you keep getting attacked, we can't choose not to do the Retaliate damage. So sometimes we just advance out of nowhere. So we have to manage that. Our last card here, don't flip the top card, is not today. That's fine. Not super useful. And then we'll pass. We're not going to use limbo here. In theory, you can, but there's no real reason to do that. This goes to 2, not to 4. It goes to 2. This goes to 8. This goes to 4. And then Venom Goblin will not activate. We still get 2 encounter cards. First, Festering Mass. Okay, we need to get rid of this as fast as possible, because while this is in play, we're considered not only to have an acceleration, but we have the symbiote environment text, which means all of these do a lot worse. So if Venom Goblin activates like this, it's not good for us. But this is Dark Designs. So place 1 counter on Pursued by the Past. Venom Goblin will scheme, which is not good. If we drew this in the other order, it would be slightly better. So that's 2 in a card. 3 boost icons, that goes up to 7, 10. And then we move the counter to where there's the least amount of progress. And now we actually have to do the text, the worst text. Because Lower Manhattan B says, place 1 threat on each scheme. If symbiote environment is in play, place 1 additional threat on this scheme. So this goes to 6. Oh my God, we added so many threat. This goes to 4. This goes to 8. This goes to 7. I'm going to run out of dice. And then this goes to 6, which is not a great breakpoint. So hopefully here we can bounce back by playing Nick Fury. We don't have any double resources, so we're just going to dump all the cards we don't need, like Colossus. We have an Exorcism set up, probably. We're probably going to pitch the Exorcism to play Nick Fury so that when we flip up, we can put it on top of our deck. We have a lot of work today. We probably have to recover. Being down on 5 health is not great. Exorcism can clear this. None of these will advance on their own, but like this will be on 9, and if we draw a bad boost card, this will hit 10. So if we have a bit of extra thwart, we'll do it there. But I'm pretty sure we're going to do Nick Fury plus Exorcism into Festering Mass, because acceleration is pretty bad. And then we have to start spamming discs to get our Exorcisms back over and over and over again. I will recover. Cool. Now we will Helicarrier, pitching Exorcism, Magic Barrier, and not today to play Nick Fury to draw 3 cards. Nick Fury draws 3. So we still have this as our hand. This is our hand? Yeah, I guess so. Meditation, Strength, okay. And an Unflappable. Getting Unflappable down will help a fair bit. This is the one with the least, so we'll have to add more threat. So we're going to try and get this one to be the least, because discarding cards is totally fine. We will Spiritual Meditation now. I think we will Spiritual Meditation now, because if we get the Exorcism on top, we definitely want the Confuse. This doesn't help with the Confuse, but we'll Meditate to draw 2. Discard 1. Not today. Spiritual Meditation, okay. Keep going. Genius. Doesn't line up too well. Stepping Disc. Stepping Disc is okay, because with Limbo, we can Exorcism twice. So I think with our hand, we'll probably throw out the Not Today. Okay, I think we have enough resources to do some weird stuff. So we'll flip up. When we flip up with Ileana, we'll put a spell on top of our deck. We'll put our 1 copy of Exorcism. So now we can play that. We're hoping that there's a Confuse underneath it. Again, Magic says we can play the top of the deck once per phase. So we'll exhaust X-Gene to play this for 1. It's an Exorcism. We'll target the Festering Mass. Remove 4 threat. Top of the deck, please, Mental. It's a Mental to clear the area. That's awesome. We play the top of the deck, so we get half of a Confuse on Venom Goblin. That's nice. So we're probably going to have to recover once more. Nick Fury. Actually, do we complete this with Clear the Area? We might want to just complete this with Clear the Area. Right? We can put Unflappable, or we can put Colossus on top of the deck. And that gives us all our stats. Yeah, I think this is a great place to put Colossus on top of the deck, because then we get +1 from all of these things. So we're going to Limbo for Clear the Area, but that draws Colossus. Hold on. All right, so still fine, I think. I think that's still okay. No, we shouldn't do that because we're going to need to play the exorcism again. I think that's more important. So I am going to pitch. Do we pitch Unflappable? I mean, what else are we pitching? Yeah, we'll pitch Unflappable. We could pitch Colossus. I think I'm like having Colossus because I think we need that little block. This hand plays Colossus really well. Okay, well, Unflappable for Stepping Disc. So you know the drill. So this readies us and we put a spell on top of our deck or a magic card. So we'll put Exorcism. We in theory could consider Colossus on top of the deck. Now we can't play the top of the deck, but that's okay because now we're going to limbo for Exorcism. So we're wasting some resources. This wasn't a perfect hand. I think we could have kept the Unflappable, but we still run out of resources anyways. So currently we can thwart for 2. So we'll thwart for 2 because we have +1 thwart because of the crown. We'll get rid of the mass. Now from hand, we'll do Genius into Exorcism. We can remove 4 threat and we get the Confused because the top of the deck is a wild. Mind you, Colossus is wild. So we'll get that second Confused and we'll remove 4 threat from a scheme. Which scheme? I think we need this to be the lowest. So this will drop down to 4. We still have the Strength in hand. We'll keep it because I think we're going to play Colossus. And then we'll attack for 2 or thwart for 2, sorry, to this. Get to 7 and we'll pass. Good turn. Nick Fury does do that. And we'll draw up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Preemptive. Nice. Damage 5. Polaris is good. Top of the deck is a hard Nox. So here we can put Colossus on top of the deck, which gives us good block. We're definitely going to block with Nick Fury. The question is if we want to set up Colossus. I don't think we set up Colossus here. I think we're okay. We won't hard Nox off the top of the deck, but I'd rather have Limbo in the hero phase because I don't think we're going to play any cards from hand. All right, these all go up. This goes to 7, to 8, to 5. Venom Goblin attacks for 4 in a card. We'll block with Nick Fury. No overkill, please. Boost, Symbiotic Thrall. This places 1 threat on everything else. So this goes to 9. This goes to 6. But that is not overkill, which is good. So Nick Fury is defeated for 4 damage. We're not blocking, and if we don't block, we don't get any of our abilities, which is a bit of a bummer. I just want to check that we didn't put any of our cards in here. We did. Great. So this will be in the discard pile. I keep discarding Professor X there because I discard it at the end of the villain phase. And so it feels like it should go in there. Good catch. All right. 1 encounter card. Oh, sorry. We moved this over. This is the lowest. And so we have to discard a card from our hand. I'll get rid of Preemptive. 1 card. We're okay with the minion. Unstable Sentience. So Surge. Give the villain a boost card. And Surge. Okay. Incendiary Bombs. This one's actually really scary because this just does damage. It's not damage we can block, and we don't have a lot of allies. We don't have a lot of ways to soak. So this, if we get a toughness is okay, but this has 2 counters on it. It gives +1 attack. So Venom's attacking for 5. And every time that we attack, we take a counter off, take 2 indirect. All right, it's back to us. Now we need to do a lot of threat work. Unfortunately, this hand doesn't threat a lot. We are awake. The top of the deck has a physical on it. So I think we can get Colossus on top of the deck so we can thwart for 2. We could consider jumping down. Venom Goblin won't scheme, but if Venom Goblin attacks, it's nice to have 2 toughness with Colossus Polaris. So I do think we do this swap. We unfortunately can't use X-Chain for anything. So that's there. So I think we'll thwart for 2. Which of these is the worst place? I think this is 3 away. This is 4 away. This is 4 away. So we'll do 2 on this. This makes it the lowest. No, this is still the lowest. I guess we start clear the area spamming. Oh, I don't think we attacked yet. We have to remember to get rid of this when we do attack. We probably will go the whole game without attacking. The issue is if like we have to play a hard Nox if there's a minion, that'll catch up. I need to remember this is here. I'm going to forget. So we can play Colossus during the villain phase. Colossus comes in for 3, and then we want the toughness. That leaves us with these cards so we can play Polaris. Polaris thwarts for 1, but gives us the toughness. I think we need the safety. So we'll do Helicarrier, clear the area, hard Nox for Polaris. Really like this ally. When it comes into play, we can give ourselves a toughness or any X-Men a toughness. I think Polaris will thwart for 1. 7, 7. We'll keep this down a bit. In terms of our thwarting, how many exorcisms are left? 1. Exorcisms left in the deck. How many stepping discs are left? 2. Okay, so we'll be okay. We want to start blocking ourselves with hard to ignore. Then we can play Colossus so we don't waste our resources. I think that's fine. So we'll pitch 2 for Colossus. We're wasting a resource no matter what. So Colossus will come into play with toughness. There's a stepping disc for next round. That's good. So I think with Colossus, we might not activate because the toughness is really valuable when Venom is attacking for 5 and a card. The problem is if we don't activate, if we don't do our hard to ignore stuff. I don't think we keep the clear the area. We in theory could thwart for 2. We need all the thwarting we can get, but I think the toughness is so much better. I don't know. I think it's better to be a bit more efficient on our hand. At this point, we're also going to be drawing into Sim or the Quick Strike Witchfire, I think is her name, which are in the deck from our Nemesis set. That's going to be a problem when they show up. All right, we'll draw up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Top of the deck is a stepping disc. So there are last 2 stepping discs, 1 in hand. Do we want to do a swap? We could put a preemptive on top of the deck. I think that's okay. We're probably not going to need it. We can do damage to Venom, but I don't think we're going to do the swap here. I'd rather have the flexibility with Spiritual Meditation. So we're not going to swap. Goes to 7, goes to 8, goes to 7. And Venom Goblin is now attacking for 3, 4, 5, and 2 boost cards. We'll block with Colossus. It's barely holding on. Move the glider counter to the main scheme with the most threat. Place 1 threat on that scheme. Okay. So not a real boost otherwise. And tracking display, so that's a lot of damage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Colossus loses the tough. We have a couple things here. Firstly, we have to move this counter to somewhere else, the lowest. So we'll go here and discard a card from our hand. I'll get rid of the hard knocks because we are currently tough and we have this stun kind of issue. Then we have to do incendiary bombs. So we have to take 2 indirect damage. I think we're going to do 1 to Colossus, 1 to Polaris to preserve our toughness. 1 encounter card. Exhaustion, Surge, exhaust your identity. Never great. Next up is Violent Tendencies. This one is fine because you might have noticed that we don't attack a lot because we use our attack events for minions. So we actually, all the damage we do to Venom Goblin, which hasn't been a lot so far, is from our defense events and for a retaliate. As much as we haven't been blocking, that is the idea. So on this turn, I think we just need to do a bunch of thwarting. And then ideally we can recover and then we should be back at it and should be able to finish the game because our block stat is really good. We always want to keep 1 ally around so that if we get double attacked, we don't lose. But I think from here we can have a shot. Big issues, the exorcism check, 1 in the bin. So we're going to try and play 2 exorcisms this round. So we'll start with the meditation to draw 2. Stepping disc. Clear the area. Top of the deck is an exorcism. So we can play that. We have to discard a card. We'll get rid of the preemptive strike. So this one doesn't have a mental. We don't need the confuses. We'll play this. We are going to not deck out immediately, but we'll X-Gene for the exorcism from the top of the deck, revealing magic barrier. So remove 4 threat. All right. So we remove 4 threat. What are we threading out on? I don't know how many more cards are in the deck that activate. Let's just really quickly check for Dark Designs. We're going to deck out soon, and that's not good. We're playing this way too slow. We haven't been comfortable enough to block. There is no more Dark Designs, so it's very unlikely Venom Goblin will scheme if we jump down. That's good. So we'll remove 4 from this one. So we'll remove 4 from another one and keep it lower. So that'll be okay. That is Exorcism. We're going to be dumping all of these cards. So now we're not going to Soul Strike. So we'll play Stepping Disc. That readies us. We can put a card on top of the deck. So we'll put another Exorcism. This means we're ready so we can thwart for 2, but I think we actually need to jump down and recover. That's probably a bit more useful here. Thwart for 2 is not bad. Recover for 3 is also okay. Oh, we can't play this Exorcism. No, we can. We'll limbo it. We'll put a Soul Strike on top. And then we'll just play this Exorcism for the rest of our hand. So this is 4 more threat. So which one are we getting rid of? I think we'll keep this one down just in case. So 7 goes down to 3. We're still ready. Polaris is ready. We will flip down. We'll recover from 3. And now we have to really finish the fight. That is it. I'm getting really hungry. I've been playing for a long time, but we have to get to the end of this for sure. This one's been an absolute little goblin on my back. We've worked so hard on this entire campaign, and the last part is just so difficult. We're going to draw up to 6. Soul Strike, Magic Barrier, X-Jet, Preemptive Strike, Scrying. Last card is an energy. The top of the deck, we technically don't know what it is. It's a Hard Knocks. It's the last card left. So this is our 6-card hand. Villain Phase. Okay. Goes to 4. We're not going to do any limbo nonsense. This goes to 6. This goes to 8. Venom Goblin is confused. We draw an encounter card. It is a Symbiotic Thrall. This thing comes in with guard. It has 4 health. And that is not too bad. So we can full recover as much as we waste some. We can flip up and go get a Soul Strike. We have a Soul Strike, but we have to play 2 Soul Strikes because we need to get rid of the webbed up. Or we can flip up an attack and play the Soul Strike, and then we can get an Exorcism. That's probably a bit better. We could attack with Polaris to get Polaris back into the deck. Colossus, we have to be less precious because we can always bring Colossus back by playing Stepping Disc, so that's not too bad. We have a Scrying, which doesn't do enough. I wonder if we actually play the X-Jet here. He says, looking at his board, not set up enough. But it is a resource. We like those. So I think we will just flip up. Ileana will flip up. We'll put something on top of the deck. It is an Exorcism. Do we know the card on the bottom if it has a mental? It doesn't. It has a physical. Okay. So that's us. We will do a basic attack. Webbed up kicks in. It says that we discard this and we're stunned, but we are stalwart, so we can't be stunned. I think we do play the X-Jet. That's bizarre. X-Jet helps getting rid of attachments because a lot of the attachments require certain types. So I think we'll just play 1, 2, 3 for the X-Jet. Another resource generator. We'll just slide these over. So the first game I've got this down, but also this is the longest game. So this will come down. We have all these other resources to play. So we could keep the Preemptive Strike in our hand because we're going to have to do a lot of work. We'll do the X-Gene to play the Exorcism. We'll target this one. So that will drop it down from 8 to 4. So they're both tied. We reveal, of course, Hard Knocks. We can play the hard knocks, but we already have a toughness, so we don't really have to do that. So I think we'll just use our hand. We'll do Helicarrier into X-Jet, play Soul Strike, defeating the Thrall, stunning the Thrall too, but that's fine. I think we'll hold on to the magic barrier because we can set up the top of the deck and then start doing blocking and actually doing damage back. We won't block with our allies, we'll block with ourselves. That's more important, especially because we're wasting toughness and we have all these hard to ignore things. And so I think we'll pass. I think we'll hold on to the scrying because it allows us to see a bit deeper. With Colossus, we could thwart for 2. I think we should because we'll block with Colossus sooner than later. So we'll just thwart for 2, dropping this also down to 4. We'll be forced to do one of these if we draw a boost card that says add threat to the ones without the glider, but that is fine. And Polaris will be our panic block if we need to. We could thwart for 1 or attack for 2, but I don't think it's huge. And we'll actually hold on to these cards. 3, we shuffle, we get in counter card. The counter card deck doesn't have a lot left. We have to watch out for the quick strike. We have to watch out for sim. So there's a couple like bad minions that can show up that impact the board immediately. Oh, actually 2 Thwart and Colossus might not have been worth it. I guess the incendiary bombs damage is a bit not that important. The big thing is once Venom Goblin advances to 3, it has Stalwart, so we can't do any confuses to jump down. We just have to like hope or like do enough threat work. All right, 3 cards in hand, 4, 5, 6. We have Unflappable. That would be really good. We're full blocking. We have energy. Last card is Genius, so not a lot of ways to spend the resources and a clear the area on the top. I think we can Magic Barrier and just hope that the top card has an energy icon. We could also just set up an energy icon on the top, but if it is an energy and we put the energy on the top because of the magic barrier, then we can't do anything with it. So I think we're going to do a swap and just hope that we have the icon. So we'll limbo here. Okay, threat, 5, 5, 5. Venom Goblin's now going to attack for 3, 4, 5 plus a card. We will first play magic barrier. I don't think we're going to block because we have a toughness. We could, but no, we'll play this first, I think. So we'll play this for free from the top of the deck. We're revealing the card underneath it, does not have the energy icon. So getting to Nick Fury is going to be a bit tricky, but Magic Barrier just says prevent the next 3 damage that we take. We will block. I think we have to decide these at the same time when an enemy initiates. So they initiate first. So that means we block 3, and then we're going to be blocking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. We take no damage, which we're almost guaranteed to take no damage. We'll remove 2 threat, which is good. That's all we have going for ourselves. And then Incendiary will hit the tough, I guess. 3, 4, 5. There's the Witchfire, so that's 7 damage. We're blocking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 3 prevention, so that's 8 damage. So we take no damage, which means that we don't have to lose our toughness. We had a couple triggers here. Firstly, this glider moves to one of these other options. So we'll move it here, which puts 1 threat on each of them. Not our favorite, so we might have messed that up where we wanted to keep this one slightly lower because we have way more resource generators than cards we can spend. Then we have to do Incendiary Bombs, so we'll remove a counter here and take 2 indirect damage. We'll take our toughness off, unfortunately. And then we blocked without taking damage with Hard to Ignore. And we have to do this after the forced ability off of Venom Goblin, so we can't impact. We'll drop this down to 4, so we can try and keep it here as much as possible. I guess we'll do 4 and 4. Or sorry, 5 and 5. If we do 4 and 4, actually, we can clear the area and then draw Nick Fury. So yeah, F it, we'll do 4 and 6. Because we can clear with Colossus. 2 encounter cards. First encounter card. Battle for Limbo. I think this just has Surge because Limbo is not in play. So each Limbo minion activates. If no Limbo minions, this gains Surge. Sim, okay. This one does add threat. So has guard, 5 health. If Ruler Limbo is in play, place 2 threat, otherwise place 2 threat on the main scheme. So this will be the main scheme because it has the counter on it. So I think that's all the Nemesis set cards. And then we have Drawing Near, which is going to lose us Nick Fury. No, we played into this too bad. After your turn begins, discard the top card of your deck. Add icons here equal to its icons. So unfortunately, the only way to get rid of this is by jumping down, and we have no confuses to set that up. So that is going to be around for a bit. Bring your Nemesis minions, like not the worst thing, but we would love to get rid of that. I hate that we got rid of Nick Fury. Okay, so Sim, we can take down. We have no stepping disc. I think we start with the Scrying. We see the card after Nick, which is a preemptive. So I'm gonna start with the Scrying to look for some sort of tempo, some sort of card we can play. We would love a stepping disc, I think. So look at 3. Soul Strike, Spiritual Meditation. Add 1 to the deck, 1 to our hand. We can play the top of the deck. I want to hard knocks the Sim, but that means we have to do 1 damage. So we can do it with Polaris. Or probably with Colossus, because we can bring Colossus back a bit easier. Oh, we blocked. Retaliate 2 for Venom Goblin. I'm just like, why are we not doing damage? Cool. So 1 goes on top of the deck. 1 goes into our hand. Preemptive is gone, I think. I think this will be on top. This will be Meditation. We can start like actually attacking Venom Goblin. The problem is this Violent Tendencies. Give the attached villain a face down boost card. Yeah. I think we just never attack Venom Goblin. Don't look at the YouTube time bar length. It's fine. Okay. We don't need to play that off the top as much as we can. So we'll meditate, draw 2, discard a card. There's an Exorcism. We'd be happy to play that. Getting the Confused would be sick. So I'll discard a Clear the Area. So we're going to attack for 2 into Sim. Colossus is defeated. We will Exorcism This will drop it to 4, which will be tied for lower. So we'll Exorcism, targeting lower Manhattan. Card does not have a mental icon. So it just drops it to 4, cuts it in half, which is good. Next, we will X-Jet Genius for hard knocks. 4 damage defeating Sims. So we defeated an enemy, we get a toughness. Does the rest of our hand do anything? Yeah, it does. Oh, but it's only attacks. That's ugly. So we're not awake. I guess we just set up. We don't want to Soul Strike Venom Goblin because we get the extra boost card. I guess we could block with Polarius and get rid of it. We don't get the stun either, so it's not great. Half a stun on Venom Goblin is actually worth something. We're definitely going to do Helicarrier to play our copy of Unflappable, so we have a bit more of that perfect defense build. This card says if we block and don't take damage, and as long as you play a defense card and don't take damage, you're considered blocking. If we don't block and just hit the toughness, we didn't defend, so that's different. Clear the area for 2 is okay. Yeah, I think we just hold the Soul Strike. So we'll play energy for clear the area. We'll clear 2 off of this to keep this the lowest. And we'll pass. We're going to have to flip down sooner than later because of drawing near. It's definitely not this round. We draw up. We'll keep the Soul Strike for a minion. I don't know how many minions are left in the deck. Stepping Disc is good. Spiritual Meditation. Stepping Disc, too many. It's not that great. Not Today on the top of the deck is totally great. We're definitely going to play it. And so we're not going to have to do anything with Limbo. 3, 7, 5. Venom is attacking for 4 and a card. We are tough, but we will still block because our activation is not that good. And we have a chump blocker and we have stepping discs. So we'll exhaust the block for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll play Not Today off the top of our deck for free. Getting closer to Prof is nice. Defend for 2 more. If we take no damage, take 2 threat off of his scheme. So again, 1, 3, 4. Boost 5, 6, 7. That's Craven. So we don't take any damage here because we're blocking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the villain stuff goes first. So we move the counter to the smallest, and then we have to discard a card. I'll get rid of a preemptive strike. And then all our good stuff happens. So firstly, Not Today. We can remove 2 threat from a scheme. I'm okay keeping this low. We can do 2 hard ignores. So we can remove 2 threat from 2 different schemes or the same scheme, a main scheme. So we'll do 1, 2. And then Unflappable, we blocked and we didn't take damage. So we draw Prof X, revealing the next card. We also keep our tough because we naturally blocked all the damage. Okay, encounter card. Sorry, I drew 2, but that's nowhere safe. I can't shuffle because it's the last card, so that's okay. It's nowhere safe. It says place 1 pursuit counter, discard an upgrade or support you control. So what is the least necessary card we have? It's the Magic's Crown for sure. For sure. And then start a turn, we discard the top card of our deck to drawing near, showing a preemptive, and this goes to 4. When this hits 4, we clear it, so we don't have to deal with drawing near, and all we do here is we go get our nemesis. Because the back of this just says search for your nemesis and put into play. We'd also search the set aside area for a side scheme, but of course, it's already in play. I want to make sure we didn't mess up. Looks good. And we'll just put Belasco into play. Oh, Retaliate 2. Forgot. We need to do all the Retaliate damage. Villain is down at 7. All right. We're really well set up. So unless things go poorly, we should be able to start doing some hard damage. I can't believe we haven't played one good Magic Barrier. I do think we took a bunch of energy cards out of our deck to play the Not Todays. We used to have Riposte, which was more damage and more energy. So we're doing way less damage than I'm used to, but we are holding on. Problem is when Venom Goblin flips to side 3 or Venom Goblin 3, we have to draw like 3 encounter cards, I think it is, which not great. Problem is there's only 1 card left, so we'll shuffle through the deck in a second, but we're on a clock. Of course, we got Belasco, 6 health, Villainous. We have to rip cards if we don't get rid of this, and that is back to us. So we are blocking good. Preemptive off the top of the deck doesn't do anything. So we can definitely meditate. We have a Soul Strike. We're going to Soul Strike Belasco and then, I don't know, probably attack with Stepping Disc. We can flip down here if we want to, but we're pretty healthy at 8. So we'll start with the meditation to draw 2. So we'll draw 2. It's preemptive. And Stepping Disc, top of the deck, is a physical. That's good. We have to discard a card. It'll be the preemptive. So the physical means that Soul Strike will stun Belasco. That's fine. Not incredibly important, but more important thing is that we have +1 attack, but we are exhausted. So we have to put a spell on top of the deck, which we're going to put an exorcism on top of the deck. So I think we're going to do a flip here. So we will put, I think, a clear the area on top of the deck, unless we want to draw this. Drawing this is actually okay. Yeah, I think drawing this is fine. So we'll X-Jet for clear the area. We'll put this down to 2, drawing the strength, revealing. There's the mental. That's good. As much as we do want a physical at some point, but we'll get there. Then we'll do X-Gene to play Stepping Disc, which readies us. And then we can put a card on top of our deck. We kind of want to put a physical, but I think we'll sort that out with the Limbo. So we'll just put, we could put Colossus, but we're definitely going to go for the damage. Wait, we have the damage in our hand, right? Yeah, so we're going to go for Exorcism. Okay. We'll Helicarrier to play the Exorcism, removing 4 threat from this. It goes from 6 down to 2. So we're back in control. And we get a Confuse as much as Venom Goblin is about to be stalwart in just 7 damage. Okay, we can get the second Confuse to jump down to clear drawing near. That's probably good. Top of the deck is mental. The only way to get a physical on top of our deck is to put the strength there. That's clumsy. Or we could stepping disc also for an energy barrier. That's good too, or a magic barrier, because then we start doing more damage to Venom Goblin. I think we will do that. So that means we're going to just pay 2. Then we don't play prof. I guess we have to play prof, right? So we're short a resource? Get out. It's not possible. This is our panic blocker. I think we'll keep her around just so that we don't die out of nowhere. Yeah, I guess we don't play prof. That's fine. We don't want to block anyways with prof, so we'll do strength for soul strike. No. We will do limbo to swap meditation with strength. We'll attack for 2 because we have +1 because of the soul sword. And then we'll pitch meditation, or we could play meditation to get the strength. Wait, hold on. We play meditation, we get the strength. We throw out a stepping disc. So we'll have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think we can play both. So if we meditation, we draw 2. 1, 2. Feel the top of that because magic barrier. That's perfect. So we'll discard a stepping disc. No, yeah, stepping disc. We'll start blocking more. Then we can do, oh no, we're short a resource. That's fine. So I did the math wrong. We'll do strength for soul strike. 4 damage to Blasco. This leaves us with this hand, which honestly, I think we're just going to keep this hand. As awkward as that is, that's good enough. Will we deck out? No, we won't deck out. Great. We will block and we'll do a lot of damage this round. We need to make sure that we have an energy on top of the deck so that we can get our magical barrier to do its thing. Then we should be fine. This is getting messy as I'm getting more and more unhinged. Magic barrier. Soul strike. Not today. Top of the deck is an energy. That's perfect. So we don't have to do any magic. And then that's it. Let's go. 2, 3, 3. And Venom Goblin's attacking for 4 and a card. We will defend. We will use our X gene to play Magic Barrier. Magic Barrier says, when an enemy initiates attack, prevent 3 of that damage. And if the top is the icon, which it is, deal 3 back. So villain takes 3. It's not an attack, so it doesn't interact with violent tendencies. We could do not today as well. I think we do, because we have enough resources to play this. So I'm going to pitch not today for not today. So when we block, we'll take threat off. This is what we're meant to be doing. So we're blocking for even more. So we're blocking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 3 prevention. So it's 11. So 3, 4, 5, 6 swinging assault. That was one of the next attacks. Now we have bottomed out. So we get an acceleration icon that goes here. And if this thing is defeated, it moves, but that will constantly be there. I think that's the best one to have it on. As much as we're going to have to work heavily on that one, that is the one that we're happy just discarding a card like we'll have to do now. But with Helicarrier X-Jet, I think we're in a good spot, let alone we're going to be drawing with Unflappable. Okay, so we take no damage. Bunch of triggers. So we're actually removing more threat than we're adding around, which is a good place to be. Give this a good shuffle. Our Nemesis set is back in here. Every Dark Designs is back in here. Venom Goblin is going to survive on 2 health. So next round we have to, unless we chump block, we have to advance. Which is bad because we're going to deck out. So if we discard a card, I'll get rid of the stepping disc. And then we do our abilities. Not today removes 2 threat. We'll clear this. Heart Ignore removes 2 threats. We'll drop these. Unflappable draws a card. We have Exorcism. We're going to be drawing another encounter card because we're going to deck out in a second because of drawing near. Revealing Hard Knocks is once again our last card. 1 encounter card. Symbiotic Monstrosity. This thing has Retaliate 1. It has Toughness. We do have our piercing on our attack, which is good, and it has steady. And it's back to us. Drawing nearer, we have to discard the top card of our deck, so never mind, we don't have it anymore. And now we get an encounter card, and this goes up to 1. Okay, we don't have the best hand. We might have to jump down and use this Confuse so that Venom Goblin doesn't advance while we're drawing all the encounter cards. So we're probably going to have to jump down and use our last Confuse. Because once Venom Goblin is defeated to Retaliate 2, oh, by the way, Retaliate 2, this is getting messy. Once Venom Goblin is defeated, it flips over, it has Retaliate, and we have to just start sending all the damage and having our block engine up, which at least we have that. Top of the deck is a stepping disc. Not super useful, nothing in the bin, but we can get an Exorcism in there if we want to. Okay, so we did drawing near. It's still us. We have the Monstrosity there. We could do a Soul Strike. The top of the deck is not a physical. We can't force it to be a physical because we don't have any of those icons. We use X-Gene for the barrier. We still have X-Jet and Helicarrier. So we could play Prof X. Prof X can get the full Confuse. We can hop down. Monstrosity, so this will go to 4. Dark Designs are back in the deck. So if we lose out of nowhere from here, oh my God, is that going to be a problem? So we can Exorcism or we can Prof X. The thwarting doesn't matter. It's the same. This will be the last time I think we can afford to jump down. So we probably Stepping Disc because it allows us to recover at a minimum. Also, we could get a physical on top. And if we have a physical, we could deal with the Monstrosity. So we're going to play the Stepping Disc for free. Its ability doesn't do anything besides ready us, but it's free. And we reveal an Exorcism. Okay. We could have pitched something to get that set up, but I don't think that's that useful. So we still attack only for 1. And taking the Retaliate into the Monstrosity is a bit ugly because we lose our toughness. So I think we just play Professor X. It's really rough that we get our Soul Strike and Exorcism into the bin. At least we'll have 2 more stepping discs, but you want to draw these on a turn where they're more impactful. So we can hold the Soul Strike, which we probably have to do for the monstrosity. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 for Prof X. Prof X enters play, we'll get the final Confuse. Prof X will thwart for 2. We will lose the chump block on this round, but that's fine. And we'll clear off, if we clear off Lower Manhattan, we actually have to move the counter there. That's not good. Oh no, because this will never be the lowest anymore because it'll be a 2 and this will be a 1. So we actually want to clear nothing with Prof X? Wait, that can't be it. That's hilarious. I guess we'll do this and just add a bit more threat. We'll keep the Soul Strike. We're ready. We'll flip down. We'll recover for 3. So we recover up to 10 and we'll pass. We actually did feel losing all the cards in our hand, but we played most of our cards during the villain phase. We'll keep Soul Strike, Exorcism, Preemptive, Stepping Disc. That's our second. Third card's Meditation, so that could be anything. This goes to 3. This goes to 2. This goes to 1. Oh, this won't move, right? Because Venom Goblin is confused, so that's fine. So Venom Goblin's confused. Symbiotic Monstrosity will activate. It's not villainous, so this just goes up to 4. And then we draw 2 encounter cards. So now if we flip up and Venom Goblin defeats itself to retaliate, now we'll only draw 3 encounter cards. Improved weapons or improvised weapons. So that's fine. Amplify. Okay, we can get rid of that. We have extra resources. We can maybe deal with that. But we are blocking a bit better than we need to. And webbed up, also not bad, as much as we do need to deal with the monstrosity. So this is a block. Drawing nearer, we discard the top of the deck. It's a spiritual meditation. This goes to 2. Oh, sorry, we could have got rid of that. We should get rid of that with the Soul Strike, excuse me. And then we won't have to do that. So I'll just shuffle this back. But we had an extra card. We might as well got rid of the drawing nearer. Yeah. And so we'll discard something else and draw a random card. Oh, wrong webbed up. This webbed up says when we attack, don't get stunned instead. But luckily we're stalwart. So it'll block only 1 attack, not 2. Yeah, we had an extra card. We might as well got rid of that for sure. So we'll draw this instead. Preemptive. Okay, too many preemptives. Prof X leaves to the right discard pile. And it's back to us. So monstrosity is an issue. Venom Goblin will attack us and advance. This will be on 6 if we don't deal with it. We have a stepping disc, so we can get to an exorcism. No problem to keep this down. And then this will be tied for lowest, so we'll still have to move it over. We have 3 preemptives. That's a lot of our damage. I hate that that's there. I think we start with the meditation. Draw 2. Magic barrier. Clear the area. We don't mind clear the area. We'll throw out a preemptive. And we'll just flip up. When we flip up, what can we put on top of the deck? I think we'll go for the Soul Strike. I think we're going to lose our toughness to the monstrosity, but there's no way around it. Oh, we could put a physical on top of the deck to give us piercing. That might be better, but I think we'll just do that with Limbo. So Soul Strike's on top of the deck. Again, Soul Sword, if the top of the deck has the physical or the wild, we can get piercing. So we can put a magic barrier on top, and I think we will. And just lose, unfortunately, our toughness, which is pretty valuable, but I think we need to deal with this monstrosity. So we'll Limbo to swap for the magic barrier. And we'll attack for 2 with piercing. So that drops the monstrosity down to 4, but we have to take retaliate 1. So we lose our toughness. Okay, so we're going to rewind this because I forgot that we had the webbed up. So if we attack with our basic attack, setting this off on the top, we'll be exhausted. So I think we're still going to do it. We're going to exhaust magic, and then webbed up kicks in. And then we are stalwart, so we don't get stunned, but we get rid of that. So this is still the way it was. That means we're probably going to have to not play an exorcism. I guess we might lose to Dark Designs, but I think we're going to have to stepping disc again. Do we have another spell that is physical? Oh, we messed it up. What we should have done is when we limboed this with this. I am pretty sure. And so we won't limbo because what we're going to do now is we're going to play stepping disc using magic barrier. That is important. The reason why is now that this is in the bin, so we ready ourselves, and now we can put the magic barrier on top. That is much more important because now we attack for 2, taking 2 toughness because we have the symbol. I think that was a legitimate take back we could have done. Okay, so we still have 3 resources to get rid of this. The top of the deck we can set up. Oh, we need to get through this card somehow. Ooh, how do we defeat this? Wait, we got rid of our Soul Strike. We put it too deep. So that was probably not the play. Oh, that's bad. I guess we could clear the area and just leave this around. So I guess we do that. We'll play preemptive for clear the area. That's our 1 mental. I guess these are staying around. And so we'll clear this down to 2. Oh no, we have to clear something and draw a card. So we'll clear this down to 1 to draw a card. This now means we can Soul Strike from the top of the deck, dealing 4 damage. Reveals the next card, which is a crown. Okay. And that leaves us with this hand, which we can still do what we want to do. We'll do X-Jet, Magic Barrier, and Preemptive, and we'll clear the weapon. Okay. So we rewound that, I think legally, but honestly, I'm getting a bit dizzy. We've been playing for too long, and I'm very hungry. we'll hold the exorcism, which we're going to need because this will be on 6. If we get an activation, it won't be here because the token will be here. So Dark Designs won't fire here, if I'm not mistaken. So we have a bit of safety in that knowledge. We have Helicarrier. That's fine. I don't think we're floating enough resources to play the exorcism. We could have actually probably played another card, depending on what we pitched, but none of these we can play. Drop to 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Top of the deck. Colossus is really good. It's a magic barrier. We have no reason to play that. We're going to defeat anyways to retaliate. So if anything, we'll probably put the Not Today onto top of the deck with Limbo and play the Not Today, just because we have a lot of threat problems. Okay, this goes to 6 because of the acceleration. This goes to 4. This goes to 1. Venom Goblin's going to attack for 4 and a card. We will defend. We have a backup defender if we draw a couple attack cards. And then Magic Barrier is good for a panic defense too if we need to. And off the top of the deck, we'll play Not Today using our once per turn. And Not Today gives us +2 defense. If we take no damage, we get removed 2 threat. So let's go. Attacking 3, 4. 5 is Enraged Symbiote. Okay, this is more damage, unfortunately, coming in. So that we take no damage. This enters play. Now this says, while this mini is engaged with you, we cannot thwart the main scheme. Luckily, Not Today is not a thwart card, so that's fine. And Hard to Ignore is also not a thwart card, so we can entirely ignore that if I'm not mistaken. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We take no damage. Now the first thing that happens is Retaliate before any forced response happens. So we do 2 Retaliate. So Venom is finally defeated, but we have to do a Venom Goblin 3. So Venom Goblin's going to take 2 damage, and then we go to Venom Goblin 3. So we'll flip this over, and we have Venom Goblin 3. Retaliate 1, Stalwart, so no more stun or confuse. Toughness comes back. Deal each player 3 face down encounter cards, and now the forced response is a bit worse. It says, after Venom Goblin activates against you, move the glider counter to the main scheme with the least threat, place 1 threat, and then do its special. So the difference is you place 1 threat. So now we have to do the forced responses because we do Retaliate first. So first forced response, we move it to here. It adds 1 threat. Then we have to do Lower Manhattan, which says that we add 1 threat to everything. So this goes to 3, this goes to 5, this goes to 7. Scary. Okay. That's that. This goes to 8, but this shouldn't matter. Now it's our responses and interrupts. So Not Today will happen. Not Today says remove 2 threat from a scheme. We'll do this to keep it down. We have 2 Hard to Ignores that we can fire. These each remove 1 threat. So we want to keep this one to be the lowest. So we'll drop this down to 3, and then Unflappable draws a card, revealing the top of the deck, which is a Spiritual Meditation. I think that's all the triggers we have. We did a Retaliate, no extra damage. Now Enraged Symbiote's going to attack us for 2. It'll die to Retaliate. I think that's fine. I don't think I want to spend Polaris or a Magic Barrier into it. As Symbiote attacks, we'll take 2. So we're down to 8, but Enraged Symbiote is defeated by 2 Retaliate. Now we draw 4 encounter cards. If we can get over this hump, I think we have this. This is the last big burst of difficulty, so hoping for the best. Symbiotic Berserker. Okay, wait, do we have enough damage to deal with these things? 5 health. Doesn't have a quick strike. Next card. Okay, guard. Oh my god. This is where it gets really bad. This is Symbiotic Thrall. So 4 health. Please, not another minion. We are 1. Okay, we can use some of our resources on this. So this is +3 to all stats. We're a perfect block, so we need to get rid of this. And finally, another Thrall. So 4 more health. Okay. Not sure. Let's look at our hand. If we can get over this turn, I think we have a chance. Okay. So we have issues. We are exhausted. We don't have a stepping disc, and we have no way to do any damage in our hand besides Colossus. None of these scheme for a lot, which is nice, but we are 1 schemes for a lot. So Venom Goblin's going to scheme for 6 and a card, which means if this hits, 3, 4, then 6 is 10. It's a problem. This was way too many minions at once, and if we lose here, not going to be happy with ourselves. So how do we deal with this? We could definitely take some of these attacks. Magic Barrier and Retaliate will defeat one of the Thralls. They have guard, but we're not interested in attacking Venom Goblin. So I think we need to get rid of We Are 1, and we need to do as much little damage as we can with these. We have a meditation on top of the deck. If we want to check what damage we have access to, we need to find our Soul Strikes and our hard knocks. We have 1 Soul Strike, no hard knocks. In terms of our stepping discs, we have 1 left. That's not great news. So I think we're going to need to get this off the top of our deck. I think we can't really play Clear the Area because we can't clear any of these. We don't want to use Polaris because Polaris probably has to panic block or at least do 2 damage. Because Polaris plus Colossus deals with 1 Thrall. That's not a bad spot to be in. So I think we have to get the meditation into our hand, which means we're going to draw the card we put on top. So we only see 1 new card. Oh, Limbo's exhausted. Shit. So we could just play the meditation. We need to find damage. I think we find that green card, the hard knocks. That's okay because we can get a toughness back, which really matters. We have so many cards, getting rid of We Are 1 shouldn't be a problem. This problem is that the counter is going to stay here because this will be at 5. And so this will only be at 4, so it'll stay there and we have to add more threat. Okay. I mean, we have to play the meditation. There's nothing else we can do. Unless we want to Polaris, draw a card, but we might as well. So we'll play the meditation from the top of the deck. So draw 2. Nick! Hard Knocks. Oh, so we can keep both of these and discard a different card. Those are the 2 best cards I think we could have found there. So I'm going to get rid of Magic's Crown. Wait, those are the 2 best cards? We have a Stepping Disc, which is also sick. Okay. So we need to get rid of the We Are One. That is non-negotiable because that's how we lose. So we have 1 wild resource. What else do we want to play? So Nick we can bring in, and then we can Hard Knocks. We should have the resources to do everything. How many more doubles are left in the deck? Because that lines up with Hard Knocks. All of them besides the one we're holding. Okay, so we'll do Magic Barrier for the physical. I think we'll do Clear the Area for the mental. For the energy, we'll do X-Jet. We'll just get rid of this. No, we probably should draw first, so we get more options. So we'll Nick Fury. Playing 1, 2. We might as well use the Helicarrier because it does not affect, so that's 3. And then whatever card we want to get out of our hand should be the one with the most repeat icons. So I think it's going to be Clear the Area. We'll draw 3 cards with Nick Fury. Nick Fury Polaris also can deal with a Thrall, which is good. So comes in with 3 health. We'll block this round. A really good card to be able to bounce back on this huge tempo turn. 1, 2, Meditations, more cards. 3 is another Hard Knocks. Not today. I do think we still have 2 doubles in our deck, if I'm not mistaken. I want to make sure we haven't messed up yet. No. We have 2 doubles left. We do. Okay. So that's a start. I will meditate. Draw 2, discard 1. Not a double. Not a double either. We'll get rid of a not today. Okay. This was the most damage. Man, the bottom of the deck is mostly doubles. So we're going to have to play Hard Knocks for sure. So we'll do 3 for that. We want to play Stepping Disc with the X Gene that's free. The problem is the top of the deck is already spoken for. So it's more about setting up a Magic Barrier, which I think we'd rather have a Magic Barrier into Venom Goblin. The problem is like the Retaliate into the Toughness doesn't line up well. So maybe we'll go for a Magic Barrier to set up an Exorcism. So we have that set up because we'll have a threat problem next turn. Or we could go for another copy of, we'll have a Hard Knocks, but maybe another copy of the Confused card, Exorcism. Okay, so we'll do 1, 2, 3. That gets rid of We Are One, which we need to discard 1 of each kind of resource. So Venom Goblin attacks for much less now. Can we play the Exorcism? The Stepping Disc, what's it worth? The Stepping Disc is worth a 2 attack, right? Because the top of the deck, I guess we'll put something else on top of the deck, but we can put a Magic Barrier, and that means we attack for 2. Hard Knocks can clear a Thrall. Does that leave us with enough to play Exorcism? I think it does. So let's just do the math. This is 3, Stepping Disc for free. No, we're 1 resource short. Still think it's fine. I think Polaris will probably leave now because we'll deck out, and so we can get her back into the deck. We'll have a Toughness and a Nick, so I'm not too scared about a double activation. So that's fine. Nick will attack for 2. We will X-Gene for Stepping Disc. That readies us, and we can put a Magic card on top of our deck. Oh, it actually might be fine to pitch first to get Colossus back on top of the deck. That's probably the most responsible if we're worried about dying, but I'm not worried about dying. I'm worrying about thwarting. So with Stepping Disc, we'll hold the Exorcism. We'll put a card on top of our deck. It'll be a Magic Barrier again. So now we have the +1 attack as a Magic Barrier. We'll attack for 2 because we have +1 attack, defeating a Thrall. The second Thrall will pitch Clear the Area, Colossus, Hard Knocks for Hard Knocks. Been really impressed with this card. 4 damage, giving us a tough. And we'll keep the Exorcism in hand, which we can't play. Does it make sense to do something with the Polaris? I think at this point, it gets her back into circulation, which is kind of good. But 2 attack into the Berserker does not defeat it to... it defeats it to Magic Barrier, which actually is probably worth it. So I'll attack for 2 with Polaris. Polaris is defeated. The reason is that we have the Magic Barrier set up, so we can do the Magic Barrier into Symbiotic Berserker. We'll take no damage and defeat it as long as we have an energy on top. We get 2 encounter cards, so a bit scary, but probably be fine. That was a really good comeback. Shout out to Nick. All right, we'll drop. Holding on. Exorcism, Magic Barrier, Hard Knocks, Strength, Scrying. Oh, we don't deck out. 6 card is Soul Strike. Top of the deck is another double. It's ingenious. So we want a Limbo here to get an energy on top of the deck. The only card is Exorcism, which is kind of fine. So I think we will, and put that on top. And that means we can Magic Barrier from my hand to defeat the Berserker. The question is, do we want to block? I still think we do because we have Heart to Ignore and all this sort of stuff. But then we draw a card. Hold on. We're going to draw a card. And so this won't be on the top of the deck if we take no damage. This means we block for 6. Venom is attacking for 4 and a card. I think we're okay taking a bit of damage. Oh, actually, we're going to block with Nick. So we will draw after. This is totally fine. The car counter will stay here. So yeah, this is fine. Let's go to 5. Let's go to 6. This will go to 4. We use Limbo. And Venom Goblin's going to attack for 4 and a card. We'll block with Nick. Tracking display, 3 boosts. So that's 7 damage. Nick Fury is defeated. We have to do Venom Goblin's text. It's now a bit scarier, but should be okay. This says move the counter to where there's the least threat, Reign of Terror. So that will stay here, add 1 threat to that scheme, and we have to do its effect, so it adds 1 threat everywhere. So getting a lot of threat. Luckily, we have the exorcism coming up. So 6, 7, 6. None of our stuff fires because we didn't block, but that's about to change. Now, Symbiotic Berserker is going to attack us. We'll do X Gene for Magic Barrier, which we play for free with the X Gene, and this we get all the text. So this says, when an enemy initiates an attack, prevent 3 damage from the attack. So Symbiotic Berserker does no damage to us. If the top card of your deck has the icons it does, deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So we defeat the enemy even before the attack, which is perfect. Now, this is a defense card, so we technically defended, so we can do Unflappable, which draws a card. In theory, that gets us another encounter card. I think we're okay taking another encounter card with a toughness, so we'll Unflappable to draw the Exorcism. That decks us out. We also now can fire 2 copies of Hard to Ignore, which says we're going to remove 2 threats. So from different things, we'll keep this down, so we'll go from 6 to 4. We want that to be the lowest. Obviously, the acceleration makes that a bit difficult, but discarding cards is much easier than anything else. This goes into our discard pile when it's resolving. No, it's already resolved. So it goes back into our deck because Unflappable happens after. I think it's fully resolved. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it fully resolves and then we do our triggers. Okay, 2 encounter cards. We're going to see the top of our deck. We haven't played it yet in case we need to. Without a cut. We didn't block into Venom, so no retaliate. Top of the deck is preemptive. Okay, so we could block if we get attacked. First card, Festering Mass. Okay, this we need to deal with immediately. So unfortunately, that's more threat to deal with. This comes in with 5 threat, and we're considered to have a symbiote environment, which means all these things hit harder. And the next card, Smear Campaign. Oh, please no, not like this. So this adds 2 threat to the main scheme. So this goes to 8 of 11, and it gets Surge. Nowhere saved. That's fine. So nowhere save. Place 1 pursuit counter on pursued by the past. Discard an upgrade or support you control. I think Soul Sword's probably the least important. We could actually attack Venom Goblin with the Soul Sword this turn. But what else do we not want here? Like our block engine is pretty good. Limbo and all these upgrades are good. I think it has to be the Soul Sword. So unfortunately, we lose a bit of piercing. But that's it. It's back to us. Okay. We have scrying setups. Confused and Stun is not worth anything anymore. So we just want to do threat work. So we have Soul Strike, which we don't really want to send. We have Hard Knocks, which we don't want to send. So I guess we start with the scrying to see a bit deeper into our deck because the top synergy icon doesn't matter. And this on the top of our deck is not great. So look at 3. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it looks like a Nick Fury turn. We will put Crown on top. We'll discard preemptive. We'll add Nick to our hand. Okay. I think we'll just doubles into Nick. So we'll play 4 into Nick, who's back. So we'll draw, I think we'll draw 3. Let's check. We in theory could thwart, remove 2 threat. That's it. That's awful. Great. 4 damage sometimes matters, but we'll draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Not a lot of these cards are super playable because we've installed most of our cards. So we're ending up drawing cards like this, which we want to hold in our hand for the villain phase. But now we have some threat work to do. So we don't have a ready. Not great. We'll thwart for 1 into this. We'll exorcism. So we've used X-Chain. So we'll just, guess we'll end up playing the Crown. That's fine. Preemptive Strike and Magic Barriers are damage. We want to hold on to those if we can. So we'll pitch Hard Knocks, Helicarrier for Exorcism. We'll remove 4 threat for the mask, clearing it. Nick needs to keep these in check. This is going to be a 9 of 11. This is going to be a 6 of 10. If we get an advance, it'll happen on this, which is the worst case. So I think we just need to keep this one in check. So Nick will thwart for 2 into this. Yeah. Still scary, but I think that's the best we have. We haven't played the top of the deck yet. So we can set up with the Crown. Sure. Oh, no, we've already played Limbo. So Magic Barriers damage. Preemptive is maybe the same amount of damage. We'll pitch 2 for the Crown. That's it. We really want to find our stepping discs so we can spam exorcisms. We actually might block this round and not Nick because then we get Hard to Ignore and Flappable, and that's better than the rest of the engine. Polaris is back. Preemptive. Clear the area. Clear the area. Please a stepping disc. It's a stepping disc. Love it. So here we can Limbo if we want to. I think we'll play the preemptive for free up the top of the deck. We're pretty happy with that. So we'll Limbo for the swap. Preemptive will happen after the retaliate, which means we do real damage. And we just need to start doing damage because if we do 21 damage, we win. And this can do up to 3 damage. That's good. We just need the damage that we have. We actually might play double preemptive. All right, this goes to 4. This goes to 8. This goes to 9. Venom Goblin attacks for 4 and a card. With a stepping disc, I'm happy blocking. So we'll just exhaust the block. We don't have any other cards. We'll just exhaust the block because if we don't take damage, we keep our toughness. Actually, no, if we don't block, that's fine. Because as long as this has icons, we played a defense event. If we played a defense event, we've considered blocking. So we'll draw a card and remove 2 threat. The chance of us blocking and keeping the counter is pretty low because we're blocking for, we're blocking for 6. No, let's block. So 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. So this is sick. We can play Preemptive Strike off the top of our deck for free. Preemptive Strike, of course, says when a boost card is turned face up. Oh yeah, so this does hit the toughness. So it says cancel those icons, deal damage back to the villain for each boost icon canceled. So that hits the toughness. We take no damage because we're only attacked for 4. So we keep our toughness. Venom happens first, moving the counter here. We have to put a threat on it and discard a card from our hand. I like Clear the Area. I like Polaris. I like Stepping Disc. I'll get rid of the Preemptive. Wait, we played this Preemptive, right? Wait, what's going on with our deck? Yeah, we played this Preemptive. Yeah, this is in our discard pile. That's the card. Okay, then we can do Heart Unflappable. That draws a card because we took no damage. And then we can do 2 Heart Ignores. So I'll keep this down to 4. And I'll keep this down to 8. Cool. We also do Retaliate 2. That should have happened first. So we're down to 19. And this is the damage we're doing. So every turn, hopefully we can do up to like 5 damage, which means we have to survive maybe a couple more turns. Smoke Bombs. This one's totally fine. +1 attack. Venom Goblin attacks. We have the exhaust upgrades and supports. And we have many of those. That's for sure. Okay, back to us. Nick leaves. We're still worried about a bunch of the double attack cards, but luckily we have a toughness. So we need to just thwart incredibly aggressively. So we want to clear upper Manhattan, and I think we'll take some threat off of lower Manhattan. I think that's all we're really going to do. We definitely want to play Polaris. We want to play Clear the Area. We don't want to play Soul Strike. So we'll X-Gene to play Stepping Disc. Ready ourselves. Top of the deck. We're not going to get confused. It doesn't matter. It's going to be an Exorcism that has an energy icon. So we don't get our buffed Magic's Crown stat, which we would actually use here if we could. The card underneath it is physical, so the order we play it doesn't really matter. So we'll play this from the top of the deck for 1. Removes 4 threat. We, in theory, actually could have done like double Clear the Area into this, but I'll just clear this down to 4 because that's where we want the counter to stay as much as possible. Reveals a magic barrier. We played the top of the deck. Here, we already have the toughness. Yeah, shit, we already have the toughness. I'll still play Polaris. We will thwart 4. We have no way of moving this. What happens if we attack into Violent? Give a face down boost card. So then we attacked for 3, 4, 5, and 2 boosts while we have a toughness. If there's a piercing, we could just lose to it. There's a couple cards that just give the attack piercing. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it just gives overkill. Regardless, we haven't seen either of those cards if that's a real card. So I'm scared of that. So we'll keep this down. I think we'll still play Polaris, and we'll give the toughness to Polaris. So we'll do Energy and X-Jet for Polaris. Polaris enters play, give an X-Men character tough stats card, including Polaris. We won't activate Polaris. Polaris will be our panic blocker if we need to. Here, we only have this resources. I'll keep the Soul Strike for a minion that shows up, and we'll clear the area, just removing 2 from this. And we'll thwart for 1 to this. Okay, best cards we could draw, Magic Barrier, which we will set up at the top of the deck, and we'll start to do 5 damage around. That means we can close the game relatively quickly, if that's a thing we can say in this game. Magic Barrier, Soul Strike. Stepping Disc, nice. Clear the area so we can get Exorcisms, Meditation. Top of the deck is a Hard Knocks. We have a Prof X coming up, so don't need the Confuse, but that could be a chump block if we want it. Will we Limbo? We need an energy on the top of the deck, so I'm going to go Limbo and swap for the Stepping Disc. Straighten up, slow down a bit, Andre. You're going fast. And then we'll add some threat to things. This goes to 2, 8 of 12, and 7 of 11. And Venom Goblin's going to attack for 3, 4, 5, and a card. We will use X-Gene to play Magic Barrier. We will also block. Oh, we don't need to block, but this preserves our toughness. Yeah, we have a Stepping Disc. We're allowed to block here. So we'll block. This says when an enemy initiates an attack, prevent 3 damage from the attack. The top card is Energy or Wild, do 3 damage back, so the villain takes 3. It's not an attack. And so now we're blocking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, preventing 3 of the damage. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's Witchfire. So we take no damage. First thing that happens is Retaliate 2. I've been forgetting that. Next, the villain's bad things happen. So Smoke Bombs happens. We will remove a counter and we have to exhaust some stuff. So we exhaust an upgrade and a support. Oh no, this is discard the event one. Excuse me, I read this wrong. So we have to get rid of Spiritual Meditation. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, we didn't take damage. Then this has to slide to where it is. So we put a threat here and we have to discard a card from our hand because of Upper Manhattan. We'll probably get rid of Hard Knocks. We did lose a lot of cards there, but we're not done because we didn't take damage. So Hard to Ignore. We remove 2 threat. So we'll do 1 here, keeping this low, and 1 here, keeping this low. Unflappable draws a Stepping Disc. Feeling the top of the deck as a Not Today. 1 encounter card. Enraged Symbiote, perfectly fine. This thing has Patrol, it has 2 attack. We don't have a Soul Sword, so it's a bit tough to get through this. I don't think we want to use the Polaris tough, but we can figure it out. Okay, down to 14. If we Stepping Disc, we actually might be able to just bring Magic Barrier back, and every turn we're taking 5 damage off of Venom Goblin. At some point also with Violet Tendencies, we'll just send it. We got rid of the Hard Knocks, but we already had a Toughness, so that's okay. All right, we can clear the area drawing the Not Today. That's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So we'll Helicarrier clear the area. Oh, we can't because Enraged Symbiote has Patrol. So we can't do that. How do we defeat the Enraged Symbiote? I think we just attack with Polaris. It's the easiest thing. The other idea is that we can put a card on top of the deck. I want to put the thwarting card. We want to put Exorcism on top of the deck. So we're going to use Polaris, who loses the toughness, does 2 damage, and defeats the symbiote. Doesn't take consequential instead. We will Helicarrier for a Stepping Disc. This readies us. We can put a card on top of the deck. We will do the Exorcism. We get the Confused, but it doesn't matter. But we just need to keep these threats down. For 1 resource, we'll X-Jet the Exorcism from the top of the deck. We'll remove 4 threat. I'll go for this one. So it drops it down to 4. That actually means we need to take threat off of this. Otherwise, this will be the lowest or tied for lowest, and you have to move on a tie. So we're going to go ahead, pitch Professor X for clear the area to remove 2 threat. That clears this. So we draw the Not Today, revealing the top card. It's a Spiritual Meditation. We can keep the Soul Strike in case we draw a minion. We will thwart for 1. We also could attack for 1. Attacking for 1 is fine, right? Because Violent Tendencies only cares if how much damage. After attached villain takes any amount. Okay. So we won't attack for 1. I thought it's only if you hit the threshold, but that's how to get rid of this. So we'll thwart for 1. We'll keep this in check. All right. We want to draw a Magic Barrier or Preemptive. I'm not sure how many are left in the deck, but we're in an okay spot. Keep drawing up. Soul Strike. Meditation. Exorcism. Spiritual Meditation. Not Today. That's okay. And the Colossus. Top of the deck is a Stepping Disc, which means we can get back one of our cards and we can ready ourselves. In fact, we are ready. So is Polaris. Will we use Limbo? I don't think we do. Oh, we could actually with Not Today. Yeah, we'll put Not Today on top of the deck. Our icons on the kickers don't matter so much, so we can just use Limbo for value because, again, with Stalwart, you don't really care about the top icons for your Soul Strike or Exorcism. All right, we got 2, 5, 6. Venom Goblin's attacking for 5 and a card. We will exhaust the block, playing Not Today for free, revealing Hard Knocks. That's nice. So, of course, if we take no damage, that's 2 more threats. So we're blocking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Venom Goblin's attacking for 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. We actually do take damage here. That actually hurts our engine. Am I doing this right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I'm actually being greedy and I'm messing up. We shouldn't have put this on top of the deck. We should have kept an energy on the top of the deck like this because +1 block is worth way more than 1 resource. So we're going to pay for it here. It's a big thing we have to keep in mind with Limbo. It's not that we need resources. We just need +1 block because this is a big attack. So again, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We block for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So unfortunately, we take 1 damage, so we lose a lot of value. Oh, actually, no, we just lose the toughness, but that honestly kind of feels worse. I'd rather take 1 damage than lose the toughness. So we lose the toughness, retaliate 2, villain takes 2. Then we do the villain's stuff. So Smoke Bombs discards our cheapest event from hand. I really like that card. That's cool. So we'll get rid of a meditation. We'll get rid of the Smoke Bombs, though. Then the counter stays here, so we add a threat and we discard a card from our hand. So we'll get rid of Soul Strike. Not Today fires. So we remove 2 threat from a scheme. So we'll keep this down to 1. And then we have 2 Heart Ignores. In theory, we should draw the card first to see the card before making decisions. That's okay. So we'll do 1 from this, 1 from this. And then Unflappable. We didn't take damage. We'll draw a card. Top of the deck, last card, in fact, is a Not Today. This is still exhausted, excuse me. For this phase, we get 1 encounter card. It's a Swinging Assault. Okay, so this is rough because we're both exhausted and we don't have our toughness anymore because we messed up. So the villain attacks you. Give the villain an additional boost card. So if we just take the damage, we could die. So this is why we keep Polaris around. We have no tricks here, so we'll block with Polaris. We're being attacked for 4. Resolve the special ability on the scheme with the glider counter, so we have to discard a card. We'll get rid of Hard Knocks. We're not going to need it. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Electro. Okay. So luckily, we don't die. We would have survived, but Polaris is defeated. So the big mistake we made lost us our toughness. So that's really important we keep that in mind. This goes here again, goes to 2. We have to discard a card from our hand. All we want to do here is some thwart work. Keeping Colossus seems reasonable. Can we play all these cards? This will be flipped up. So we're just going to play Colossus for safety. And then I think we can still Exorcism, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, 12 health. We are exhausted. We can Stepping Disc to get something on top of the deck, including Colossus. We can play Colossus. Threat, we want to do a bit of threat here. If we Stepping Disc, we can put a mental on top. I think we just want to put a barrier on top and just keep playing barriers over and over and over again. So if we exchange for Stepping Disc, we can still play. Yeah, that's fine. So Stepping Disc, ready your hero. Grab a magic card, put on top of your deck. I think our most important magic card here is, especially with Limbo, is Magical Barrier. Sorry, Magic Barrier. This means that when we get attacked, we don't take damage and we do 3 damage back. So with Retaliate, that's 5 damage. Okay, we're ready. We will thwart for 1. We're not going to play the Magic Barrier. We'll thwart for 1. Oh, in theory, we can put Colossus on top of the deck so that we can thwart for 2. Oh no, Limbo's exhausted. So we'll thwart for 1. We'll keep this down. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3 for Colossus. Winter's Play has a toughness. Bit better to play during the villain phase, that's for sure. I don't think we need the toughness here, so I think thwarting for 2 is maybe not necessary. I'm worried that we're going to lose to a dark design. That is the only way that I think we lose, but we don't lose. We only lose one of these, which if we lose one of these is not that bad. This will be on 3, so if we use Colossus, we waste the tough to take off 1 threat, which seems kind of silly. We're going to be drawing 2 encounter cards, so I think we just keep the tough and say this will be on 3. If we draw 2 dark designs in a row, this will be on 4, then we activate it on 5, 6, 7, and then it'll move, I think. So we'll probably be fine. We'll pass. 2 encounter cards, a magic barrier. Not today. We deck out, we draw a card. So we want to find an energy to put on top of our deck, so the magic barrier is guaranteed to do damage back, and we won't take damage, so we fire our engine. 3, stepping disc. 4, preemptive. That's more damage. We can play that. 5, clear the area. 6 is spiritual, top of the deck, is an energy. That's perfect. So we actually have a lot of damage in our hand. In fact, a ton of damage in our hand. I don't think we need a limbo here because we're happy with the top of the deck and we don't want to risk it. We have preemptive and magical barrier. So worst case scenario with both of these, or best case scenario, this does 3 damage, this does 3 damage, and then we do 2 damage with retaliate. So that's 8 damage, which means we could finish this round by attacking. Yeah, maybe. We won't limbo. This goes to 3, this goes to 5, this goes to 6. Venom Goblin, it activates and attacks for 4 and a card. We will, firstly, use X-Gene to play Magic Barrier. We will block anyways. When an enemy initiates an attack, prevent 3 damage and do 3 damage back, so the villain takes 3. So we're blocking the first 3 damage. We will exhaust. We can play Not Today. I think we will. I don't think our hand does that much else. So we'll exhaust X-Jet to play Not Today. So we're blocking for 2 more. And if we don't take damage, we take 2 threat off. Or we also can play the preemptive if and when it shows up, and that should be good. If we draw a minion, we might have an issue, but we're hoping that we can just close the game out as much as most of the minions do have guard. So we'll hope for the best. So attacking for 4, 5, 6, it's sim. So we definitely don't take any damage. So first thing that happens is retaliate 2. Do we want to preemptive for 2 damage? I don't think we do. I think we hold it for next turn because it doesn't hit another break point. We'll get the magic barrier on top of our deck in a second. So we'll just do 2, dropping to 7. Okay, first the bad things happen. So this stays here, puts 1 threat, and then we have to discard a card from our hand. So we'll get rid of clear the area. Then the good things happen. So Not Today says we can remove 2 threat from a scheme. So we'll drop this down to 2. 2 hard to ignores. We'll just keep these kind of in check. We'll keep this one down. Actually, no, we'll keep this one down because we could lose to a double scheme. And then we draw a card with Unflappable. So we draw clear the area. No, we threw these out. We draw the stepping disc. We keep missing the discard pile. I think that's all our triggers. Yeah, 2 encounter cards. First, Craven, okay? Now this is a guy we can deal with unless we just want to win, and all we have to do to win is 7 damage, but it has steady and villainous, and after Craven attacks, we have to lose our stuff. Second card is Sinister Strike. Okay, that's not great. So we place a counter here, and now Venom Goblin's going to attack for 4 and a card. Now this is interesting. If we preemptive hits a 3 boost and we do retaliate 2, that is 5 damage, and then we can win this round. What is the chance that we just die to this though? Imagine being defeated on the last turn. So Venom Goblin's attacking for 4. One of the boost cards says like draw 2 more boost cards. So in theory, I think we should block with Colossus for safety. If it's a really bad icon with preemptive, we can still do 3 damage back, but we won't do the retaliate back. That means if we draw into an attack, which we don't have access to, oh, we have hard knocks on top of the deck. We could hard knocks Venom Goblin. Yeah, we'll block with Colossus here. So 3, 4. This puts into play. No, that has guard. Okay, so I think we need another turn here. So Enraged Symbiote enters play with 2 health. So that means we get attacked for 3, 4. Colossus takes the toughness off. This goes here, goes to 2. We have to discard a card from our hand. It's a preemptive, I think. It's probably a stepping disc. We don't need 2 of them. And it's back to us. So we have problems. Craven's on 7. What was the boost? It was 1 boost. Okay, so we don't want to preemptive that. So we have issues. We definitely have issues. We could hard knocks the symbiote. I think that's probably the start of this turn. We could meditate first. If we find a double, the hard knocks plays a bit easier. We want a stepping disc with the helicarrier to put something on top of the deck. We could stun Craven, actually. That actually might be the play. Craven attacks pretty hard, which is not good. Colossus is still around for a panic block. But if Venom Goblin does 1 good attack to us and we get Magic Barrier on top of the deck, we could potentially win. Because that will do 3 damage plus 4, 5, plus the preemptive is 7. So if we're hoping that we get attacked with one big boost, we could just basically stepping disc to get the thing on top of our deck, the magic barrier, which is in the bin. And then hopefully everything lines up. We do 5 with magic barrier, retaliate, and then all we need is preempted to do 2 damage. None of them are attacks, so we don't care about the enraged symbiote, but that is one of the ways that we get out of here. Otherwise, possibilities. We could stepping disc, a big attack on top of our deck. We could stun Craven. I think we need to deal with the enraged symbiote. I think we just get attacked by Craven. We can discard upgrades or supports, that's fine. We have the magic crown at the end of the day, right? So I think Craven can only do 5 damage, that's okay. So we need to block Venom Goblin. We can block the enraged, we can defeat the enraged symbiote. So I think we'll just hard knocks the symbiote. So top of the deck, reduce the cost by 1. We'll do 1. We'll keep the preemptive. We'll do stepping disc, spiritual meditation for hard knocks. Is this what we want to do? No, we should just play the spiritual because the spiritual can find a double. And if we find a double, we actually save a card here, I'm pretty sure. So we'll play spiritual meditation, draw 2 cards. So we can still play the top of the deck. We'll draw 1, we'll draw 2, not a double. We'll discard not today. Top of the deck now is a preemptive. You can't double cancel, I don't think, because one cancel cancels the cancel. Well, limbo. Do we limbo? Do we limbo? Did we lose a resource somewhere? I'm not sure what we played for Helicarrier. I think we might still have Helicarrier. That's fine. We'll just limbo, do the swap, and we'll just do the hard knocks. I think we might have lost a resource. That's not that big of a deal. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 off the top, hard knocks, revealing another hard knocks. This does 4 damage to the symbiote. We defeat it, we get a toughness. I think the only thing we're worried about they're losing to is threat. We have a preemptive in our hand. We'll keep it because it's an energy icon. If we draw into a mystical barrier or a magic barrier, excuse me, we're in a good spot. And we just need to do a little bit of damage. Venom is going to be taking 2 for sure. And with preemptive, it might be up to 5 damage. And then we can just do 1 big attack. 2, 3. It's nice. 4, 5, 6. Okay, no block card. But we have a meditation. Here we can put an energy on the top of the deck, which I think we do. So we will limbo for the preemptive. We'd rather play the preemptive for free. Yes, I think we do. So that's limbo. This goes to 4. This goes to 6. This goes to 6. Venom Goblin attacks for 4 and a card. We will... I don't think we actually exhaust the block because we have the toughness. And if the preemptive flips, that's fine because then we're considered to block so we can get hard to ignore unflappable. So we won't block. So we can block Craven if we feel like that's necessary. So 3, 4. Good enough boost, if you ask me. That's Dark Child. It has 2 boost. We'll play preemptive from the top of the deck. Preemptive strike says, play when you reveal a boost card. So it says, cancel all the boost icons, deal 1 damage back for each canceled. So that's 2 damage back to the villain. And so we're being attacked for 3, 4. We technically blocked, and we lose our toughness to this. So our toughness comes off. First thing is retaliate. So the villain's on 3, which is in striking distance. We have to do the bad stuff first. So this stays here. It goes to 5. We have to discard a card from our hand. We'll get rid of Scrying. Then we do the good stuff. Hard to ignore removes 2 threat. We'll keep this down. Unflappable draws a card, revealing to clear the area. And now Craven's going to activate against us. Craven also attacks for 2 and a card. We can just take this damage, I'm pretty sure. It's 2 and a card, and after we tax and damage us, we have to discard an upgrade or support. So the most we can do here is 5 damage. Though we can also block with Colossus if we wanted to. I'd rather block for Colossus if Venom Goblin attacks for a lot. We could block ourselves, but we already got our ability off here, so we'll just take it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We take 4 damage. Craven takes retaliate 2. And we have to discard an upgrade or support you control. Single encounter card. That's not good. I think it's okay. Oh no, this is fine. Place 1 pursuit counter. Pursued by the past gets 4. And then instead of Dark Designs, we just go get our friendly Belasco, who does not have guard, and just put Belasco into play. So Belasco can watch us. Many hours in of trying, Magic finally can defeat Venom Goblin and close the Sinister Motives campaign. That is it. Cut the deck. It doesn't matter. We're free. This goes up. And just for style, we'll do 1, 2, 3, and we'll hard knocks Venom Goblin out of the campaign. Oh my God. Deal 4 damage. We just checking. We don't have any guard. Violent Tendencies doesn't cancel the damage, right? After attached villain takes any amount of damage. Give the attached villain face down boost card if the attack dealt 3 or more. Discard this. Okay. That does 4, and we're out. We finally did Venom Goblin, and no joke, that took about 7 or 8 tries. I was getting pretty disheartened. It is very difficult. If you just draw bad encounter cards, you get triple attacked on round 1. Solo protection, you don't have a lot of flexibility. I'm glad that our deck naturally transitioned to the perfect block deck, because that's the only way we can keep up, right? We're drawing a card, we're removing 2 threat, we're taking no damage, and playing the cards off the top of the deck with Magic feels so good.
The issue is you need to set up first, and that's really hard. We're a bit luxurious there. Again, it takes a long time. So the longer the game is, the more risk we're undertaking. But just timing that Venom Goblin flip from 2 to 3 is so important. If you do it at the bad time and rush, and then suddenly there's all these minions, it's awful. But hey, we got it, and I'm glad we can, because I knew that was definitely possible. And that is the end of the Sinister Motives campaign for Expert Magic. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you watched through all of that. I know that's probably a pretty long edit, but if you appreciated content like this, if you want to leave a like on the video, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, all that sort of stuff helps so much. We're streaming regularly on this channel Fridays at 2:30. We're streaming whatever we are playing at the time, new stuff, building decks, but we'll be back with another campaign run through. Probably just gonna do some shorter videos, just do one-offs and stuff like that, because that campaign takes a lot of time. But thanks so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Yes! Finally.